And bloom.
And who are we with now that we're back?
Who are
That's
we
me.
with?
Yes, it's you. Who is me?
I want to talk about being a good ancestor. The framing for this piece is cryptocurrency as the blockchain, these rapidly emerging substrates for what I believe is a transformation in consciousness. The past few decades of technology have been marked by disposability, by platforms that disappear at a moment's notice, by projects that are cancelled before they're finished. But for the first time, we have the opportunity to do something that lasts forever, or at least this is what we say. We say that when we're building on blockchains, we're building permanently, we're building things that last forever. And I'd like us to take that with some responsibility if that's what we're doing. Because I think that when we have the opportunity to build transformational technology, we should mean what we say. With smart contracts, we can encode any behavior that we want onto a computer system that will run until the end of time. So what is it that we're doing with these systems? The cryptocurrency industry is our opportunity to build regeneratively. And yet we're falling back into the same trappings of the late capitalist workplace that so many of us spent years running away from. What would it look like if we built systems that couldn't be traded on Shabbat? What would it look like if we built systems that were aware that it was Mercury retrograde? What would it look like if our technical systems linked up with our spiritual ones? That's the question that I've been answering. The thread that I've been tugging on. What is the spiritual system of the blockchain? What does it look like? Maybe to answer that, you first have to start by asking what the spiritual systems of the earth are and where they come from. seems like the spiritual systems of humanity till date have been based on the observations of the heavens from the earth. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It starts to feel very earth-centric. It's a very earth-centric way of viewing the divine. What would it look like? What would it look like if we considered a spirituality that was fit for all corners of the universe, all dimensions of consciousness, all forms of consciousness? Because if we're building technology that lasts forever, we have to consider that someday it might outgrow the people who are currently using that. That's us, humans. Aspects is a series of decentralized, on-chain, co-created tools, mythologies for a cosmic spirituality centered on the blockchain, and it comes down to something really simple: a number. It turns out that blockchains are based on the number, which is one of the most sacred forms of communication that there can be. So this is an invitation to turn inwards and to make the blockchain sacred. Box is a new calendar that is fit to last until the end of the universe, because it imagines communication that isn't limited to the observation of the sun around the earth. It is just based on the inherent sanctity of numbers. I invite you to join us on this journey to consider that the things that we make with technology should last for a really, really long time. It should last for long after our descendants have ascended to the stars, for long after we have made contact with forms of energy that we know to be true, and to bring each of these things into the way that we work today. And to use them today. To use them today for ritual. Use them today for ceremony. To use them today to recognize that things are sacred if we choose for them to be. To recognize that things are as sacred as we choose to let them be, and to recognize that technology is a canvas for everything that we truly believe. create a series of tools, a series of meanings, a series of interpretations, a series of lenses. We create them as a community and we use them as a community. We build together as a community. And we see the work that we do today as the beginning in a long chain of human progress. Thank you. twitter.com/jungle. You can see my speaking card here. I'd love to tell you more about aspects and epochs and this spaceship that we're getting on together. Thank you.
Love this stuff. I have 10 minutes with you people. And John, you completely put me in a mood. If I was to listen to you and not take in what you have given me, then I'm no better than a rock. But here in Ibiza, people think that the rocks have ears and have feelings. And so even the rocks react and relate to the environment to human beings are just much slower. And as proof of life, which is interesting, speaking of blockchain, people talk about proof of work, proof of stake. I have to relate to human beings. So John, you have incepted this in me. And I'd like to work on it. Ladies and gentlemen, if we can get to gallery view, and if you're still present, if you hear me clearly, I'd like you to turn on your cameras. I would like to commune with you. I'd like to have a little bit of fun with you if you're up for it. Yeah. If you are present, if you feel that vibration can communicate a little more than words sometimes, I would tell you to skip the breath and just give me a note which conveys the emotion which is channeling through your bodies right now. Whether it's an oh, whatever you feel is missing that can contribute to the general composition. That is us. That is us finding coherence in this space. That is us relating to one another the way that they relate to us. That is us embracing Ubuntu in a very visceral way. That is us committing those words and those expressions to paint. That is us.
That is us.
If that is you, show me two fingers recognizing that this is you. That is us. 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 Yeah, I was going to share a community quickie with you today, but I've done several of them on this channel. And so because I have absolutely no obligation to you, financial or commercial, but only emotional and spiritual, I wish to actually play by that game and play with that tender. Meaning that I would like to bring something to this space that is truly transmutational and strange and freaky and completely unexpected, because you would expect no less of me. If I was not growing as your artist brother, well then what good am I if I'm not growing with you, right? I would like to first and foremost thank everybody on this call by saying and reminding you all that we are as good as the company we keep, but also we are only as good as the company that keeps us as well. Yes, you may think that you're as good as those people over there. You may suppose that your place is there, but if they will not have you, if they will not embrace you, if they will not listen to you, well then you are not part of that cohort. So I would like to express my appreciation to all of you for having me here in court and company with Mel and others I hold dear. I hold dear. Let me share a little bit of beautiful magic with you. Now, turn on those cameras. Let's get the gallery view as well. Let's get the gallery view, because what I want you to do is I want you to find somebody on this screen that you truly love. And I know that if you've been here for long enough, you will find more than one. All right? Yeah, let's get the gallery view. Harris, you're one of my favorite ones, but there's more. There's more. And I want you to sing the following to that person. They don't need to know who it is. This is kind of like a Secret Santa kind of thing. You're going to sing the following. I wish you loved yourself the way that I love you. I wish you loved yourself the way that I love you. I wish I loved myself
the way that I love you. That I love you.
You. I wish you loved yourself the way that I love you. I wish you loved yourself the way that I love you. I wish Harris loved herself the way that I love her, and Amanda loved herself the way that I love her. I wish Roxy knew how much I loved her, and I wish that she trusted her. She treated herself with that much love, as much as I would like to give her. I know that her self-rating would rise well above the rest of human beings in this space. I want you to try that. Is that therapeutic? I think it's a good way of self-regulating the love in this space. You want to try another one? If you're still with me, can I get an I from all of you who's still with me? Good. Try this one. Try this one. I hear your heart beating in my chest. Try it. I hear your heart
beating in my chest.
I hear
your heart beating in my chest. I hear your heart. I hear your heart. I hear your heart beating in my chest. I hear your heart. I hear your heart. I hear your heart. I hear your heart.
If I'm silent, I can feel it too. I can feel it too. Going boom 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 boom. I see your eyes reflected in my own, but I'll only see them if you come a bit closer. I see your eyes deep within my own. I see your eyes deep within my own. How about one with voices? Do you want to try one with voices? Do you want to try one with voices? One with voices. Roxy, of course, derail my thing. Only you can do it. La 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 la. thought it was yours and mine. When we fused the me, we all of the sudden dive into the we, like a river that finds the ocean. If it's you, I can tell you, I have no fear, no apprehension. I would definitely allow myself to be decomposed by Harris's poetry. Take me, decompose me. I am happy in your mycelial embrace. I hear my voice deep within your own. I wish you loved yourself the way that I love you. I wish that I loved myself, perhaps the way that you might love me. What a confusing little game we play when we forget that actually there is so much more delight to be had, not in the me, but in the quantum atomized. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an unstructured, unrehearsed, simply improvised community quickie. Just people coming together, singing, contributing, engaging in a random state of play, flow, and creativity. And just to add some coherence before I sign off, could I ask you to tone? I would like you to tone. I would like you to find a person on the screen, and I would like you to make a sound the way you think they would sound. Don't make your own sound. Try to bring their voice into the space, and let's see if we can even this out. Ready? Did you select the person? Select the person? On 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh.
Meow.
We're missing voices. That's not enough. Not enough voices. Not enough voices in the room. Not enough voices in the It's the lovely Amanda Joy Ravenhill.
Hola.
Sparkle, how nice to have you here. Beautiful. I'm going to take the liberty of introducing the next speaker. I was really confused when I knew there was a guy called John Ash who went by another name, and when I met him in Miami, it confused my brains to know also that he was Roxy's boyfriend, but a guy who's well-read and well-researched till the end, and he mixes it with music, he mixes it with heart, he fuses all of these beautiful parts, and he does it with grace. So will you please allow him to enter the space and give a warm round of applause to Speaker John I love you.
Hello.
We
Can you
love
hear
you,
me?
Yurgi. Yurgis is leaving. We love
Oh,
you, Yurgi.
goodbye. That was very lovely.
Gotta go. Love you. And
Thank
listen,
you, Jorgis. Gracias.
let me tell you a secret. You should all come and live in Ibiza, but don't tell anybody because we don't want too many crazy tourists and ravers on the island. Just keep it to yourselves. It really is great. It's like
Thank you,
Burning
Yuri.
Man, only better.
Take care, Yuri.
Thank you.
Gracias,
It was amazing
Jorgis.
hanging out with you, all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello. Can you all hear me well?
See.
Okay, cool. My name is John Ash. There's no other name. I have no idea what he's talking about. And I am a musician, and I make AI art and music videos and basically anything that I want to make or get inspired to make in any media that I get inspired to make it in. I just make it. So I don't know which specific lane. And that goes beyond art. I am a machine learning engineer, and I've worked in machine learning for over a decade now. And in 2016, I developed a technology that I would share what I thought was the truth with it in just natural language, and what I thought was good and important to save. And it's like, these are my most, important beliefs. And what the model would do is it would try to reflect back to me what I was saying, but in different words. And there'd be this sort of iterative process where it would gradually refine, like learn what I was trying to represent to it. And I got really fascinated by the idea of, well, what if it just wasn't one person? What if it was many voices trying to communicate together, and it was trying to represent, the collective belief, find some center of those voices. And I wrote a manifesto about that, and I had all these visions of how we can better integrate different perspectives. And we were going through this time of hyper, polarization. And I was seeing this vision where it's like, literally, you could just say your beliefs in natural text. It was like, this goes a lot beyond like democracy. It's not like you just get one tokenized vote. You just say what you want. I mean, like, this model understands my beliefs about what is good and true better than my local representative. Hell, my local representative doesn't even know that I exist, right? And 2 or 3 years later, GPT-2 came out, which was very similar concept, but with a different framing of just like, what if we just took everything on the internet, all the bad stuff and the bias and everything, and just traded on every single possible thought that we've ever had ever, and then we'll just release it to the public. It's like, okay, that's a little bit less refined version of the same thing. And over the last year, there's been this sudden emergence of Web3 and new forms of collective decision making, and most of them are still tokenized. A lot of obsession with the blockchain and like tokenizing the votes and stuff, like where you literally have to buy your ability to vote. And I'm thinking, man, what if we just integrate our perspectives, literally? And so, in difficulty of trying to communicate this abstract idea to people, I write a lot of music about integrating perspectives. And I wrote this set of songs called The Rising Sun and Patient Moon. The Rising Sun is about the sun who has a vision of a beautiful future, right? Because that's what I started eventually doing, was sharing my vision of the future to this model and having it reflect back to me over time when I was right and when I was wrong. So I could just, refine and get better and get more aligned within my own self and get more integrated with myself. So the song is about the sun who has a vision about how to make the world better, a better place. It has this vision. And its answer is that it wants to shine all day. And we don't need the moon. The moon will go away. The rising sun, where I'm from, where I'm going to this morning, where I've been. Come from the east onto the west. The rising sun. Hey, God, can I please move the moon? 'cause it's getting in my way, and I don't have any room like to fill up all the sky so that the earth could burst to bloom in the morning. Just a rising sun. And the ground circles round, but if that should cease to be, would I go to the north, to the south, till my fires burn away, just a fading star. So hey God, can I please move the moon? 'Cause it's getting in my way, and I don't have any room in life to fill up all the sky so that the earth could burst to bloom in the morning. Just a rising sun. Does that sound good? Can you hear me well? Is there any peaking or anything?
A little tiny bit of peaking, but mostly magnificent.
Okay. So that was basically like the moon was like, that is a diss track. You have dissed me. I am valid and important, and my perspective is valid. And just because I can't glow on my own doesn't mean that you can steamroll my existence. And so the moon wrote a song back to the sun and also to God, because they're both talking to God, because they think they know what God wants. They think they know, they have the direct line to the source. Wait, I wasn't supposed to change the key. Well, I don't need fire. The sun is a liar, gonna shine as bright as the stars by my side. Well, if I'm just a reflection, look how the resting gonna shine as bright as in me tonight. Because I've been thinking things about the things you sang to me. And I think that God and I would both agree that I'm a light, you're a light, need us both in the life. So take a bow, take a rest, lead the frame, chase the western way. We all need direction. There's also perspective, and the center is nowhere between you or I. Well, then we're both moving forward as our words make them warmer, and we'll find a way to just sleep through the night. So it's just a way. So just a way. Time comes around, darling, just wait. Thank you. I'm John Ash, And if you want to learn more about new systems, I have a podcast on YouTube called Listener John Ash, where I interview various people like Robin Hanson about futarchy, or Jordan Hall about civium, or my friend Jason Snyder about localism. It's just a sort of exploration of different ways that we can collectively organize. And also on there, just other thoughts. Thank you for letting me come and perform. And I'm very proud of you, Roxy, and I love you so much. And you're doing incredible. And all of you are incredible and so talented. And I'm just so excited for all of these minds to be woven together and, you know, working and collaborating, vibing with each other, and just forming this new collective whole. So thank you.
My love, you sure you want to play one more? You have time.
Let's see if okay, let me just, all right, I could do that.
Right.
Okay. Okay, hold on. I can do this. Are you gonna raise up and lift your voice so high? Are you gonna break down and never even try? 'Cause you gotta know we ain't got a lot of time. This life, these times, you wanna change their minds, but you're thinking too late. No talk now, minds resigned to signs of hate. Voices crash and stay the same, so you feel quiet now. Hold your tongue and things change. Close your ear and walk away, and you'll feel no fear, but it will not help us heal. Are you gonna say I don't like the other side? Are you gonna think you're the only one who's right? Is it really worth losing Earth to keep your pride? No time for spite. We've gotta make this right. 'Cause I fear we could change, balance out. Some will say we've lost our way. Speak your voice and things will change, but you feel quiet now. Face your truth upon the stage. Use your word and we could say what we need to be. Your voice will set you free. Are you gonna say I don't think I wanna change? Are you gonna pray out to the world with your pain? These are coming, you just keep on running. I think you got something to say. Hey, 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 hey. You can't control more than the things you know. So I love to watch you say. I just completely forgotten the chords for the end of the song. See, this is why you don't veer off. This is why you don't veer off the feeling in my soul that we got some room to grow if we wanna heal or survive. So I'll say it one more time, but I wanna hear you speaking up. Lord, I just can't get enough, and I wanna hear our voice as one, as I breathe the rising sun. I got it the last second. Again, it's a song about speaking your truth and how important it is that, you know, we really put into the world and we formalize our beliefs. You know, I strongly believe in the idea that voices are more powerful than choices, and democracy is just a choice. That's all you are given. And so if we have new systems where we can actively express our true beliefs through our natural language, that includes almost like everybody who can just communicate at all. Whereas a lot of these other Web3 products are very excluding to a lot of people. And I just want this beautiful system that can bring together all of our voices and aggregate all of these different perspectives and, you know, respect and reflect all of them in this giant multifaceted crystal of, you know, collective belief and consciousness. And I think that's what should be saved to the blockchain rather than just this tallying of a profit game. It should be, you know, the tallying of us working together in collaborative play and sharing all of our beliefs about our expectations about the future. And actually respecting, you know, when our predictions are a little bit off. If you want to learn more, you can also go to cognicism.org. Yeah.
I do a round of applause. Wow, that was wild, wild. Y'all, I have to say, big ups to this guy for keeping me going sometimes because I get worn a little thin. He's a good cheerleader, and it's a really beautiful thing to have a community and a partner and just places like this where we can feel less alone in what we believe and more buoyant because we're doing it together. We're bringing our, you know, diversity of perspectives and approaches and communities. Or really, like, this whole thing was built on regenerative design principles of empowering the capacity of the system. And so social change artists and a systems change artist kind of weaving together. Pretty fun thing. Good. That was amazing, John. John Ash definitely doesn't have another name. Definitely just John Ash for sure. Yep. Okay, I am super excited about what's next because, oh, Amanda Sage, please do the honor.
Well, I'm excited too. And well, we all are. And there's an echo. Somewhere. Is it Alicia? No, somebody else. So I am happy, very happy to introduce and to welcome my dear friend, Alicia Sacred Heart, who is my director and guide of the Vision Train. And we have done so many wonderful things this past couple of years, navigating these realms, learning how to fly spaceships, build international creative space stations, and cultivate community and figure out what this means through all the ups and downs. And let me tell you, they all are there. How do we really hold space for each other and cultivate an environment for growth, to reflect on our own growth, you know? And I feel like John Ash, that was really a lot of what you're singing about. You know, it's like we need to really humble ourselves in some ways to the truth of what we're doing here, and that we don't actually know, but we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna you know, answer the creative call. And so Alicia's soul came blazing into this body with a desire to be joyful, share love, and be creative. Once a professional singer, she is also a visionary artist and currently the project director of the Vision Train and produces art classes. And we produced a whole bunch together in 2020 and on into 2021. And we're about to start a whole new project, channel everything that we've already done into a new form. And it's an exciting new frontier. And it's always, when you come to those new horizons, you're like, wait a minute, is this really happening? I think it is. So Alicia, thanks for being here. And she's also in the second cohort of the Design Science Studio. And, you know, we're linking train cars, all of us. You know, we see the train as also this platform to explore how we're going to get there and to have a great time along the way. You know, let's catalyze this transformation through our art and our hearts. So welcome, Alicia.
Thank you, Amanda. And thank you, Roxy. Thank you, Design Science and Buckminster Fuller. Thank you to the Vision Train, our beautiful community, which is hosting us in this call today. It is a profound honor to get to share with you what I'm about to share with you. It's our first time actually sharing publicly about it today. And it's a project that has grown out of this space and another one that I'll continue to explain very shortly. And a lot of our preparations are leading up to this very moment. So without further ado, I will go ahead and share my screen and get this show on the road. So my name is Alicia Sacred Heart. I am the owner and director of Vitra Academy, now with my beautiful sister and collaborator, Amanda Sage. This is a dawning of a project that has been a long time coming. And we couldn't actually start talking about this or how we got to this point without talking about the Vienna Academy of Visionary Art. The Vienna Academy of Visionary Art was founded by Lawrence Caruana and Florence Maynard, and was also, Amanda Sage was a contributor to the opening of that academy and a main collaborator and support throughout the life of that school. That is how I came into this whole picture in the visionary art community. And it's a place that I have profound gratitude and admiration and respect for. I started my journey there in 2015 in Torrey Superiority at the summer seminar. I went back and studied again in Vienna in 2016. That was when I started working for the Academy, and came back in 2017. Had such a beautiful experience living in Austria and learning of classical methods. And I was, coming from a theater background, this was a surprise in my life. And it was something that I became very attached to and fell in love with. And then in 2018, I started teaching my own courses, Sacred Heart with Alicia in Ashland, Oregon, 2018 in June. And then I returned again to Vienna in 2019. And all these pictures are different courses and different groups of people, constellations that came from all over the globe, and each one of us acting as each other's student and teacher simultaneously. And it was just one of the most beautiful things that ever happened. Then I had the pleasure of assisting Amanda Sage with painting with light in Los Angeles in January 2020. And then, as we all know, very shortly after that, the world came to a grand change, a grand wave of change came for us, right? And with that, actually birthed one of the most beautiful projects I've ever had the honor of collaborating with. And that is the Vision Train, where we are right now. And so on March 24th, 2020, the Vision Train started as a 24-hour art jam. And now has continued for almost 2 years of continuous nonstop running on this Zoom call that you're at right now. That means that any time of day or night, you can log into this exact Zoom meeting and meet a community of people that are like-minded, that are maybe sharing their own work, sharing things that inspire them, different podcasts, hosting interviews. And this is a project that was really the brainchild of Amanda Sage. And because of my work with the Academy and our work together in the past, she asked me to be involved in it. And it was the coolest thing that's ever happened to me, really. And so the Vision Train was born. And We started out with just a handful of conductors, and now that's grown to a community of about 80 conductors that I've trained in how to hold this space down. But shortly after that happened, after the train started, the academy ended up having to close because of complications with COVID and traveling restrictions for the students. And so Amanda spearheaded a project that I ended up producing and directing, which was a fundraiser workshop series that lasted from like April until October of 2020. And so here's the start of my learning how to produce classes online, essentially by myself. And many of you that are listening now may have taken some of these classes. Thank you so much for supporting the Academy and for being part of this unfolding, this beautiful unfolding. Then starting on July 4th of 2020, Amanda and I, along with her partner Joe Bob and other teachers, worked in collaboration with the Vienna Academy of Visionary Art to produce Transformations, which was an online intensive that Amanda taught. We had a student exhibition. And then we had a whole second series of fundraiser workshops for the Vienna Academy of Visionary Art to support them in their transition. We also produced a course with Stefan Lucas called Grounded Visions from September 30th through October 23rd, 2020. And that was a life drawing and figure studies course that lasted, I think, 2 months. A course with E.T. Anderson on perspectives. And then Amanda and I joined back up again to produce Reflections 2020, a visionary portrait seminar that she taught from 11 to 12:12 in 2020. Starting in 2021, we joined forces with Michael Fuchs, one of Amanda's teachers, to produce Fantastic Realism from April 24th through June 12th. I worked with Tony Taylor, this brilliant goddess Tony Taylor, for Awakening to Your Spirit Totems. Another course I produced with E.T. Anderson on composition. I partnered with Christina Lazar to produce The Stillness of Life, which she taught on romancing the Miche technique. And then again in September, we joined with Michael Fuchs again for his second seminar called Fantastic Portraiture. So that brings us here. All of that led us to this point. And so besides getting to see the progression of my experience with graphic design over the last few minutes, all of that ultimately equipped me with the skills and the confidence and an amazing partner to open Vitra Academy for all of you. And our spring term begins on February 22nd, 2022. 2/22/2022. It's a Tuesday, and it's on a Tuesday. We'll have opening circle, and then that weekend we'll begin with our first workshops. Starting with, well, actually it starts with Thriving Artists with Anya Amador, which is a art business development course from February 26th through March 5th. Then that following week, we begin a full 4-month course with Stefan Lucas, again in Grounded Visions. March 12th through March 19th, we welcome Lisette Murphy for a course called Profound, which is Foundations and Procreate, where she'll be teaching how to illustrate and begin to animate using Procreate. April 12th through April 9th, we have Sacred Geometry for the Intuitive Artist with Crystallize. April 16th through April 23rd, we have Light, Color, Dark with Roland Tiller. And then wrapping up this 4-month term, with a 6-week course with Amanda Sage from April 30th through June 4th. Sprinkled throughout those 4 months, we also have lectures by Carrie Ann Bada, Christina Lazar, and Lawrence Caruana, and guided meditations from Rule Krabe, Megan Joy, and Florence Maynard. To find out more about Vitra Academy, you can visit us at www.vitra.academy, and you can find us on Instagram at vitra.academy.
Thank you, Alicia.
Well, one last thing I want to
journey.
share, one last thing I would like to share is our mission. And at Vitra Academy, we champion artists as sacred, relevant, and critical to our human lives. It is our vision to honor tradition while embracing creative innovation as vehicles for human evolution and global transformation. I am complete.
Wow, Alicia, thank you so much. This is such a rich curriculum that you have put together in partnership with Amanda Sage, and something that I witness in you and Amanda both. And the Vision Train is just this like rapid response to the moment, which I think all artists are so like equipped with, right? Like we know how to like meet the moment with full presence and share what's needed. And so I just honor you and acknowledge you for your courage and willingness to just throw yourself in the fire and bring this together and provide so many incredible tools for so many emerging and established artists to just continue sharing these visions for a better future through their mediums.
Thank you so much, Harris. Amanda, is there anything you'd like to share about Vitra?
There will be so many more opportunities to come, and I think we're going to carry on. That was a beautiful intro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you, Vision Train. Choo choo! It was an honor to be linking train cars with you. And this is such a sacred moment, the moment that this is finally shared with the world. Beautiful gift that you all are, and the space that you hold for so many to come forth and always feel safe to be creative and to invest in and give time to that spirit within them.
It's a gift and an honor, and it's incredibly critical for our progress as a species on this planet.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Roxy.
Revolutionary Alicia. Wow, my goodness. All right, I am super excited to introduce the next brilliant human who is an advisor for the Design Science Studio, one of our biggest fans from day one, and a dear friend, and absolutely one of the smartest, most creative, fun, brilliant, loving humans ever. Get ready, y'all. I get to introduce Brian Kurtz, who is a global strategist with over a decade of experience leading strategic, transformative innovation initiatives inside large corporations, lean startups, and family offices. He's benchmarked over 150 innovation labs on 5 continents and is a regularly featured speaker on innovation, districts, social intrapreneurship, and cross-sector collaboration. I am super excited for this keynote. Welcome, Brian. We love you. We thank you. We see you.
Thank you, Roxy. And thank you, Design Science Studio, for hosting a fabulous day of content, showcasing brilliant artists and ideas. This short talk today is on igniting the spirit of invention for mass system change. It's a call to action for artists to raise their brushes, their tools for creating in unity, to get to work, breathing life into a new reality, to steward a just transition towards a world that allows for all of life to thrive, with continuity for 7 generations beyond us and many more to come. The special thing about Design Science Studio that I love is its astounding collection of diverse talent under one massive tentpole. The prospect for impact and innovation when we all come together in co-creation is truly boundless. And the question quickly becomes, how big can we dream? Doesn't every art project start as a dream? Today, the world beckons for us to dream at scales unseen by our ancestors only a short time ago. So welcome everyone to the new year, the third year of the decisive decade of action as declared by the UN Secretary General. My dear fellow humans, I don't wish to harp for long on all the things gone wrong, democracy teetering on the brink due to extreme polarization, institutions failing to curtail extreme inequality, the shortcomings of current climate action as we fail to halt the ongoing mass extinction event that we're living through, and the devastation of biodiversity. It's a lot. I tend to view these huge global challenges as a lack of visionary, holistic, high integrity leadership. So one may feel exasperated in the face of these mounting grand challenges and decide, wow, this situation is dire. But I'm here to make a plea to you that we do not go gentle into that good night, but instead rage against the dying of the light, as the Welsh poet Dylan Thomas said. I'm blessed to speak with this group today, the 144 artists of Design Science Studio's second cohort. It's our role to come together, to self-organize and spontaneously give rise, shape, and form to new layers of intelligence in ourselves, each other, and the collective. Because as we, the artists, wake up, we shake society awake from its slumber. So these challenges are larger than life, unprecedented and grandiose. Our world, humanity, and all of life beckons for creativity, for innovation. Put frankly, we need miracles. We need alchemy, we need magic. We need all the vigor, vitality, passion, creativity that we can muster. We need to lift each other, to accelerate each other. That's why I'm here inspired to speak with you today, because as artists, we deal in miracles, in the miraculous. Every day, we are the purveyors of magic. Art transcends cultural boundaries. All these challenges sound overwhelming, but it's not too late. We're right on time. In fact, you see the linchpin is you. The linchpin is us. It's about your art, our art together. Before it used to be that art was thought of as confined to a frame, a canvas, or some sort of fixed form. But now a new consciousness is arising in the collective, and art is dripping and trickling out of its confinements into the world, blending into reality in new ways, out of the box, off the playa, seeping into the collective mind and experience. Because what ability does art have but to cleanse from the soul the dust of everyday life, like Picasso said? The invitation for us as makers is a step into even greater ways of transmuting negativity into vibrant protopian solutions. With more creativity, more ingenuity, and more inventiveness. My dear artists, as creators of new realities, we can conjure forward from our mind's eye, our imagination, and summon forth ideas to fix the way things are. Every year, a new revelation is published on how diversity breeds innovation. You know, I could like cite Harvard or the Wall Street Journal, but I think we all deep down know it to be true. So look around you at the diverse cohort. Sure, you're all brilliant individuals in your own right, but together, we are an ecosystem rich with differing skills, insights, ways of seeing the world. And we can reach out with our unique perspectives today in a way that was never possible before, to strike a nerve globally and start revolutions. The role of the artist is to make revolution irresistible, said American author Tony Cade Bambara. We have the power to send a new TikTok dance move from the world, send the move around the world and back from our hip pocket, to swap permaculture techniques without boarding airplanes. We can share blueprints to design new programs that mobilize transformation of entire industries. I've got this book right here. And there are many reasons to revolt. As outlined earlier, creatives can design a meme or piece of art that prompts mass inquiry into any hundreds of issues that we have to fix during our lifetime. So my prompt is to find a cause and dive into it, knowing that your artistic eye and mind will see things no one else can. The creative process is so intimate and yet so public. The same dynamic reflected in the popular wisdom, as above, so below. So what's in your soul? Your impulse to create? What does your imagination whisper to you in quiet moments? Which idea can you not shake? That's your higher intelligence coming through, your desire to make, to do, to brew up the new. The thing about being an artist is that you inherently see the missing objects that exist between this reality and another. So what would it look like if you opened the portal to that adjacent possible timeline and pulled it through into this world? Humanity needs us. Our generation, our parents, our descendants need us. We as a world in transition are in desperate need of new narratives, new stories. I loved hearing Tori Fillmore's tale of homesteading at Cedar Hill Homestead, north of Nashville earlier. Did you see how many people in here were excited to learn more? New stories have a way of shining hope. And in the face of a world so broken, are you not sick of other people telling you how things are, how they should be? I know that I am. And a lot of my work is focused on movement making and convening around climate action and the Sustainable Development Goals. I consider myself an empath. I was always really sensitive as a child and felt somehow that adults sort of misunderstood the nature of the world. It's heartbreaking how our society devalues humans, let alone nature, and would allow our brethren to go homeless or impoverished. It didn't make sense to me. As I grew older, I went into the fields of corporate social responsibility and corporate sustainability and saw firsthand how these issues were being thought of and dealt inside these large institutions. And frankly, it's as afterthoughts. And so I traveled to the far ends of the earth, looking for other ways of operating, seeking answers to help make sense of it all. And what I found was amazing, a global movement that you're all a part of systems thinkers and social entrepreneurs, artpreneurs, intrapreneurs, setting up and stepping up, walking out of systems that no longer serve us and walking on to create new ones. My role in this movement is to set up and lead teams that develop vibrant changemaker ecosystems, co-working spaces, innovation labs, running meetups, which often turn to hackathons or accelerators, not too dissimilar to the cohort Design Science Studios running, that set into motion infrastructure that holds space for cross-sector leaders to hospice these old systems that no longer work and breathe life into these new innovations and solutions. So that's the context through which I dream today, a dream that I can't shake, which is to invent new approaches to mass orchestrating a just transition to a more regenerative civilization. You see, I stumbled upon a theory of change through my travels that seemed to ring true across every major change initiative that was running effectively. And so I internalized it really deeply. And I'm happy to share it with you now, hoping that will, prove some inspiration to you. It's that the world's grand challenges can't be solved by any one sector, industry, organization, or leader, but rather require cross-sector collaboration at an unprecedented scale. This has been true for the advent of the smartphone or electric autonomous vehicles, for all things space travel, and even global supply chains. These innovations have all required government, private sector, nonprofit organizations, and academia coming together in some shape or form to merge and morph their findings and augment the world through specific interventions. It requires creative thinking. And now human ingenuity is giving birth to a new exciting industry called climate tech, which I feel like an unofficial ambassador for. At the same cross-sector intersection of all these other innovations, the sustainability field is merging with the tech sector. And we anticipate that it will continue to sort of swallow the world as decarbonization requires transplanting localized approaches to sustainable development across the globe. Sometimes an idea, a dream, a vision for a new art piece has to sit still for a while, ever lingering and developing until the moment strikes when all the conditions are ripe and the easiest thing for the fruit to do is to fall. I feel like this moment that we're in right now is, these huge challenges, we are meeting force with force, where all these amazing visionary thinkers around the world are also stepping into their full power. And the clean tech and climate tech revolutions are here, ramping up quickly. We're mounting a movement to address climate action and the transition at region-wide scales, looking at statewide and nationwide interventions. How do you transform an entire country, a small island, or a big developed state, entire economy? That's the challenge that we have right now, is that it's not just one company or organization that needs to change, it's all of them at once. And so we're doing a lot of examining how do we creatively mass orchestrate and scale solutions in time to seriously address climate change. We need all of the creative firepower that we can get to stage local revolutions that help these solutions to scale. Inside your mind, your heart, your vision may lie the creative solution that the world's waiting for. So thank you for turning your magic all the way up and honing it for the just transition ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. That was absolutely beautiful.
Here.
Woo-woo.
Yes, that was so inspiring.
Nice. Yes.
I'm really inspired to be part of this whole community. So thank you so much, Roxy, and the whole team for holding the space for all of us to come together.
Yes. We can do wish you were sphere together. Just let the whole world know that it is not so hard to live when we stop thinking in boxes or with boxes in general.
Ravenhill.
Thank you so much, Brian. That was beautiful. And yeah, couldn't agree more on the cross-sector collaboration as kind of the cheat code to the moment. How do we get out of this mess and into the next world and the next economy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And yeah, I see you as a design scientist, in addition to being an ambassador for climate tech. And yeah, just wanted to take a moment to talk about design science for all of you who are here, as an invitation to try it on as something that you are. I think a lot of us are generalists and, working in many disciplines, and design science, it's the natural sciences deal with what is, design science is dealing with what will be. And I heard that a lot in your talk, Brian. And then one way I like to think of it is kind of, paraphrasing Buckminster Fuller, but repurposing yesterday's technology for tomorrow's omni success. He said that we've built all the right tools for all the wrong reasons first, and then we get to repurpose them for tomorrow and for everyone's win for all game dynamic success. Another part of design science is cataloging nature's design principles for the world's redesign. And finally, another way I like to think of it is an interweaving of futurism, biomimicry, art, and systems thinking. So hopefully that's a spark for all of us to kind of see ourselves as design scientists, to lean into this work. There's a lot of incredible primary source documents by Buckminster Fuller on this. And yeah, I'll hand it back over to Roxy. It's great to be here with you all.
Such an honor to get to intro one powerful, heart-centered, embodied woman who completely embodies a design science ethic and perspective. And this woman's work, I'm so excited for y'all to experience her. I've had the joy of connecting with her as a cohort member and in supporting the launch of the Regeneration event that we had in Miami. Veronica is a visionary architect with more than a decade's experience working in sustainable development and geospatial tech. She is a land listening, ecstatic mystic, building a world that works for all with sacred architecture, dance, and coaching. Oh, so good to have you here, Veronica. Take it away, girl.
Wonderful to share space with all of you on the vision train. Such an honor to be part of this community and to follow that beautiful call to the climate tech world. And we're going to dive in here as I share with you about the work that I'm doing with Studio Sonadora. And I am sharing my screen with you now so that you can deepen into this journey. So you're welcome to follow your breath as we get set up here. So also sending out prayers to the tech gods that this will be a smooth presentation because we have a few different things to look at here. And I just want to check if you can see my speaker notes. Can you see my notes?
Nope.
Now?
Just says, hi, my name is Veronica.
Perfect. So this is me. I'm a lifelong what does it say?
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Great.
See your notes here.
So in 2008, I entered into the inquiry of how do we design a better society? And I moved to Philadelphia and and that was my first time living in a city and really witnessing industry. Philadelphia, for those of you who don't know, was the first capital of the United States. So there is a very deep history and a little bit of everything that America stands for in the United States, including a lot of poverty and inequality. And that was my first experience of witnessing food deserts and really true abject poverty. Coming from Connecticut, I had a less diverse perspective on the world. And so that really opened my eyes. I was also activated by the Zeitgeist movement at the time, when I was studying architecture. The Arab Spring was happening and Occupy Wall Street was happening. And all of that really motivated me to find a way to develop architecture and urban environments, which was more humane and connected people. So eventually I got my master's degree in geodesign, which is the combination of geospatial technology for actually listening to the land. And that actually took me to the United Nations, where I gave a talk about how this technology could be used to help achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And despite all of the passion and fire in my work, there wasn't enough momentum happening at these higher levels of society. So I decided to take my life into my own hands and moved to Costa Rica, where I worked on many different projects, large and small, and developed sustainable projects. So that's a little bit about where this work is coming from. And Studio Sonadora is the group of artists and thought leaders building a regenerative culture I've created, which exists to build systems for optimizing human living in a way which catalyzes a global shift in consciousness so that we can build a world that works for 100% of all life. And the context that we're operating within is this post-Anthropocene era of blessed unrest, where, like Paul Hawken has reminded us, we are working as local actors creating this new paradigm together, where we're not so much unconsciously defining our planet's environment and ability to function. We're working harmoniously and consciously together with the planet. So we're a global coalition of regenerators and mindful peace builders and stewards of planet Earth. And this studio is growing thanks to our relationship with the Design Science Studio. I'm so honored to have been learning from the masterful work of Hab Ritual. And we work on using maps as communication tools. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So Home Dash is this project that I've been working on within the studio. And Home stands for the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And it's a dashboard, a tool for Home. And the questions that have motivated this work have been, how can we manage what we can't measure? And how can we change things if we can't visualize them? How do we get where we're going without a map? And I don't believe we can. So that's why I've been working with the tools of biomimicry to use biological precedents like the ant hive, a bee colony. Technology can start to mimic nature and help us to mobilize resources for planetary regeneration while empowering those who are at the margins currently in our existing paradigm. So our goal is really to, at the bottom of this chart, you can see invite participation. We need a platform that creates cohesion in the regeneration movement, a platform for organizing stories about the future we want to see. And our goal is to repair degraded ecosystems, invite participation, inspiring action, generate circular economies, caring communities, and healthy biomes and healing cities. So we're working at the intersection of the political, the social, the economic, and the ecological, and creating place-based social networks that help regions, cities, and towns get a global view for local action. And so this involves gamification and tokenization and a lot of really wonderful things, which I hope that you'll read more about in the white paper and one-page informational document that I'll drop in the chat. First, I want to demonstrate to you a story map. So what you're looking at here is the power of maps to show us a story. And this story is about the Renaissance and how once upon a time there was a golden era of innovation and regeneration. It was the dawning of a new age of peace for human civilization. And I remember a time when scarcity and poverty ruled the land and fear reigned supreme. But our hearts, broken as they were, started to heal. And we achieved mindfulness at a global scale, recognizing our interdependence with all of life by creating a global operating system called Home Dash. So this is an example of how geospatial data can allow us to become more aware and act in greater compassion for the whole realm of life on Earth. And if my internet supports it, we'll be able to interact with this data and understand things like poverty, water access, and armed conflict. Maps help us to sync up. They literally help us to act together. And in our last few seconds together, I just want to share with you one more way of looking at data on a globe. So here we're looking at urban centers, cities, classified by the natural environments that they exist within. And here we're actually looking at these desert cities in Venezuela. And on the ground, you can see this blue area, which shows us that this is actually the tropical Andes biodiversity hotspot. So what I hope you'll be able to understand with this demonstration is how we can go from the local to the global and understand the interconnectedness between our built environment and the natural environment through a platform like Home Dash, which allows us to see the heartbeat of Mother Earth. So if you'd like to, in your own time, interact with this prototype, click on the data, take a tour of all of the information that's already in the system about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I'll drop the link in the chat for you. But just so you get a quick taste, I've shown you here on the screen. And then I invite you to go to our website, home-dash.earth, and sign up to be a part of this project. There's a number of different ways you can get involved as a storyteller, as a partner, as a sustainer, or an advisor, a volunteer. Maybe this mission is aligned with your own and you see yourself as a potential team member or a contributor who has stories to share. Or maybe you're just interested in seeing this in the world. And if that's the case, I welcome you to find the link in the chat and share your support and register to make this vision a reality. And I honor your presence and look forward to sharing more with you and fielding questions if it's in your joy.
And I made you a breakout room, Veronica, for Q&A. Thank you. It was, the internet was like wanting to give up, but it just kept not. It was like little pauses, but all of it came through. So thank you, technology gods, for giving everyone an opportunity to experience the work that you have been doing. Even just this first prototype of Home Dash, when you showed it to me in Florida, I was blown away. And my passion for data visualization personally is so deeply rooted in what happens when people can interact with information in a more physical way. You know, we can really see it and feel it and understand what these hotspots are like and navigate the changing world and be spaceship Earth crew, and what you're creating is really helping to make that possible to understand at a completely different scale for different kinds of people who learn in different ways. And also for this cross-sector collaboration that Brian was just sharing about. This is a way to live it, feel it, see it, touch it. So I know there's so much more from the outside in and the inside out. You just also taught a whole session on embodied liberation. Thank you for being committed to being an embodiment of that which you seek to create in this world.
Likewise. Thank you so much. I will look forward to connecting with people in the breakout room, and there is a one-pager you can download in the chat as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. So wonderful to see Buckminster Fuller's geoscope embodied in your project. I get to introduce Julian Ramirez, who is a designer blending traditional technology and also traditional knowledge, rather, and technical knowledge. He's very passionate about the natural world, like so many of us here, and finding out the language of it. And he's working in 3D environments as experimentation labs for project design and development. Thank you so much for joining us, Julian.
Thank you, Amanda. Really happy to share this here. Oops. Let's try again. Okay, there. So fractals, right? So the idea of the fractals was to find a way to read somehow nature, or understand how it grows and how it evolves. So the first question, of course, is what's a fractal, right? So there are so many ways to define this, but I just wrote down a few words, and you can just select one. I think select the one that you feel it's more related with the way that you perceive reality, right? So it's basically a composition or a range, and so we're gonna see how we can make them, right? So in order to create a fractal, we need three things. The first thing, it's a pattern. The second thing, it's just a change that we apply to that pattern. And the third thing is to repeat that pattern. So go back here again. Oops. Okay, so let's start with the pattern. Let's start with a triangle, right? So we were gonna transform this triangle into 4 triangles, just drawing one in the middle, right? So this is the pattern will be a triangle, and the action is just repeating that triangle 3 times, right? So we have the pattern and we have the change, right? So then we just have to repeat that again. And this is pretty known fractal, that you pretty much repeat the same action to the other triangles, right? So it becomes like infinite, and you can keep repeating that action so many times, infinite times. So then if you change a little bit of the action, in this case, let's say you have the pattern again, which is the triangle again, you have the change of function, the change again to make 3 triangles out of that. And then I'll add another change, for example, color, right? So I'll start adding color to that change. and then I repeat again. So doing exactly the same thing that I was doing before, just changing a little bit of that action here, that change will bring like another layer of information to it, right? So I'm just doing exactly the same, just change the color every time. So this means that the shape itself, it's one thing, the information on that shape, it's something else, right? And also I want to note here complexity, right? So what can we do with these things? Okay, these models are based on natural occurrences, natural things, and they are fractal too. And I have been using different kind of structures. You can see here reciprocal or tensegrity structures, and then changing those actions in a different scale too. So the idea is to use the shape that it's in that form of that creation, natural creation, and somehow back engineer its elements to in order to achieve that knowledge or that structural or that path or that way that these things grow, right? So the second thing here is fractals in nature, which we can see like different patterns in different places, right? So for example, plants, they grow in a specific sequence, or minerals, they grow as well in these crystals and these shapes that we can draw, we can actually see, but they're all based in the same principles, right? So for example, a tree, the difference between one simple tree and one big complicated tree is just that complexity in that change, right? So we have this idea of fractals in nature, but in reality, nature is fractal. So what I want to say with this is just, it's not just the things that grow, but it's also things that get destroyed, which get this kind of patterns. So in this case, I have like these patterns here. This is these are patterns of deforestation in the Amazon. This over here, it's that's a oil spill in California last year, and the other one is just the way that cities grow. But you can see here there are also fractal in these things, right? So nature can be explained through mathematics, but that's just a language to explain these things. These things happen. They just happen. That's the nature of nature. So the idea that we have been like all talking about, it's like how to perceive all this, how to integrate all that into our own mind and our own way to like see things. And so we're talking about Ubuntu and awareness and these kind of things, and it relates to the idea that everything happens at the same time. Everything is connected in ways that are really delicate and small that we cannot perceive sometimes, but everything is part of it. And the balance of that, those, let's say, fractals, or that wave of fractals, or that rhythm of fractals, that's where we exist as humans. And this is kind of representing that idea. And so then we go to scales of being we have been talking about. So we usually are here, right? That's like our usual state of mind. And sometimes we think about family, sometimes we think about societies, and the other way too. Sometimes we think about our bodies, our systems, our organs, our cells, our molecules, our atoms in that sequence, and it happens the same the other way around. We have been talking about that. So the idea of the thinking fractal is also to integrate those realms to our perception, right? So instead of just, we can integrate, for example, family, society, or a physical place or environment, I can also think about like keep taking care of your body and go deeper into those levels of perception of yourself as something smaller, but also something that it's larger, and how we can connect with everything, right? And we are also, we can see that we are actually connected because we have consciousness, but think about the cell. It has some kind of brain, some kind of skin, that has communication and other things that are actually, or some, for me, that's some kind of consciousness. But we don't perceive that. And something else, like our bodies are created by matter, that and elements that were probably created somewhere outside of the earth or inside of the earth. So it's all definitely connected in some way, right? So that's what we have been like talking in different ways, and the invitation here is to go to those to perceive, to see everything around you and see how everything connects and how you can feel. And the more you play with this kind of shapes, the more you will be able to perceive them. And now here with the Design Science Studio, I've been working with some other projects and some other ideas, trying to integrate all that too. Just for example, what we use for the world environments, and also it has some of these spherical thinking and all those concepts. And we have been also working on some ways to show with different people inside the DSS their perspective about being part of that world. So we started this little project here, which was just a way to present the maximum map into just different perceptions, not more like not in the data world, but more into the what I feel, how I perceive that world. And we have been just playing with all these concepts and just exchanging some ideas. My invitation is to continue, please, doing that, everyone, and continue just looking around and seeing how everything is connected, and we just have to look there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julian. I can really feel your deep curiosity about life coming through your work, and just the hours of observation and play and wonder that you've cultivated that has been guiding this work. At least that's my sense of it. Thank you so much for this invitation to deepen in our love and curiosity about the living world and the patterns of our living world and how we can play with them and how they exist within and outside of us. I feel like I'm mapping this thread right now of the power of mapping, the power of visualization, the power of understanding from a broader scale and a smaller scale who we are, to feel belonging and to feel connection. So thank you so much for taking us on that journey.
And thank you to my sister for finding you on the internet and validating that this was a safe and nourishing place potentially for you, Julian. Shout out to Sarah for helping weave so many people weaving. And Julian, thanks so much also for jumping in and collaborating with so many people. And you've been bringing visions to life in ways that people probably never imagined.
Yeah, that's part of this. That's what I can do. I can create images, but the important thing here is the stories. So, and share those stories, so we can work together. This is great. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you. I remember that beautiful quote, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So now I am going to introduce a performance. And this performance is by Monica Bowles, a revolutionary in the Design Science Studio. Monica Bowles is a digital artist, audio engineer, and composer. Driven by her love of emerging technologies, science, and her passion for the human experience, She connects new technology to artistic and human explorations of scientific concepts. She has a project that we're going to be experiencing. It is called Orbits. It's a data-driven generative instrument that uses the rotational patterns of Venus and Earth as they travel around the sun to explore patterns in nature through visuals and sound. In this performance, Monica Bowles uses the instrument to explore the hidden musicality that is ever present in nature, questioning the influence and place of humanity in the universe. So while I cue this up, I just invite you to let that sink in and enjoy.
Maybe others can take themselves off of mute and share some sounds.
Woo! Awesome.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Am I up or is sorry.
I'm reminded of the term cosmomimicry, rather than biomimicry, just looking at life, what are the underlying relationships and shapes and musicality of the universe, of the cosmos. Thank you so much for taking us on that journey. Do you have any other words?
Sorry, I missed that last part. I know I'm up soon, but am I up now? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so sure, I guess, well, thank you for joining. My internet might be a little bit unstable, but yeah, it's just kind of some of the work I've been doing as far as exploring the ways that we as humans can, connect with data in these different ways and scientific concepts, and as artists kind of bringing kind of like that merger of art and science together, and how, we can physically experience it in a way and how we can play with it as well. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing the play in. I think that's definitely one of the hacks for this moment. It's like bringing in the creativity and the play and the physicality of being in a different relationship, and being inspired by the form and beauty all around us.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much my main focus, is kind of like how to connect people with that beauty, the beauty of nature and the beauty that's present within those patterns in nature.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Speaking of patterns, thank you, Monica. That was amazing. I am grateful that you trusted me to fix the audio settings. Go team. My love of art.
Thank you, Roxy.
I like hardlined in. I'm like 400 megabytes of internet. I can do it. Yeah, that was incredible. What an arc of an experience the last journey has been, and now going from patterns in nature to one of the most incredible pattern recognizers, organizers, humans that I have had the pleasure of meeting. And also I'm just really enjoying the four of you brilliant humans on the screen right now. Oh my gosh. I need everyone to give roaring applause for this amazing human who is the reason that we had such wonderful navigation today through the multiverse of all of the different sessions. Vincent created Trove, and he's going to be here to share a little bit about it. But I would love if everyone could just give him some love, because he worked so hard to make this.
Thank you, Vincent. You're my hero.
You are so loved.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Roxy. So I'm going to put some links in the chat before I start. And as Monica said,
your proper introduction, because I have it.
Sure.
Okay, I'll do it. Dun, 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 because then you don't have to do this part. Vincent Arena is a systems designer, a social entrepreneur, and founder of Trove, a social network that aims to catalyze collective intelligence and coordinated action by making it easier for people to find resources and opportunities to create impact.
Thank you. So as Monica said, I really think it's at the intersection of art, design, science, technology that we're going to be able to solve these interconnected, tricky problems in a holistic way. And so I'm going to share a little bit about Trove and hopefully how it can be a part of that puzzle. Okay, so Trove is, like Roxy said, a combination between a social network and a digital library for communities, powered by Catalyst Collective. And Trove started off with this idea of the wall of opportunity, which was a way for people at conferences and in colleges to be able to share what they were offering and what they needed, and to encourage and catalyze collaboration. when people are working on projects and not knowing about what exists. It was also started out of a frustration for all of the tools that existed that we ended up turning to in order to try to organize and coordinate and be able to collaborate at scale. And it came out of this understanding that these tools are not actually created in order to catalyze connections. In a technological world, information becomes a problem, not just a solution. And so it's about how do we have information that's organized in the right way. For the last 5 years, I've been in upwards of between 50 and 100 different in-person and online communities. And I kept seeing the same problems over and over again of like, hey, where can we find out where everyone is? I'm looking for this thing, I'm offering this job. And then what happens? It gets buried in the feed, or it gets lost in some Google spreadsheet somewhere. And so these questions started coming up. How do we have connection without information overload? How do we encourage collaboration and diversity of different ideas and solutions without creating unnecessary duplication and without having monoliths? And how do we have organization that helps us find what we're looking for without having really rigid categories? And so that's kind of where Trove came in. So trying to combine the aspect of a social, collaborative network of individuals and communities working together to solve global problems, and to do it in a way by catalyzing and categorizing information so that it can be found when you need it. So on Trove, you have a profile, and your profile is linked to different types of information, like events that you're hosting, projects that you're working on, or resources that you've shared. And those resources can also be shared within and across the groups that you're in. So that way, if you're in a group and you go to an event, the events that are on your profile can be shared into a bunch of different groups, and it's a way for communities to find information when they need it. And Trove works at these different scales, and I've been really incredible experience being a part of the Design Science Studio and getting to work on the sort of information architecture behind Trove. And so we've been trying to create these metaphors to kind of describe and make it easier to understand how the information and the knowledge is structured and organized. So using the analogy of like your home, you have information and knowledge all over the place, but you know where to go to find things. You're not going to go into your kitchen if you're looking for socks. And so how do we use space as a metaphor for helping us be able to find what we're looking for? So if you save a book in your bookshelf and then you tag it with a group, it'll also show up in your community's hub in their resource library. And, you know, this is where a collaborative space where the rules of the space are, you know, not just decided by you, but decided collaboratively by the community. But because there is some structure to how the space is organized, you're like, okay, I'm looking for a project, I'm going to go in the project room. And then the cool thing that happens is if there are hundreds of groups all sharing projects, events, resources, and they're tagged with these sort of the global layer, then you start to have networks. And so this is kind of what I am imagining will look like when you can walk into this giant library with hundreds of different rooms. And these rooms have information that's shared across all the different groups. So if you're looking for books, you might want to go in the library. If you're looking for opportunities to get involved in projects, you might want to look in the wall of opportunity. And if you're looking to really get into like detailed work, you might want to go in the funding room or into the collective action conference center. And so then you're able to basically search and find this information across all the different communities, and then also to be able to share that information across different platforms. So I'm going to briefly share what this actually looks like. So this is the current version of Trove. So our mission is to help you find your path to action. And this is kind of what it looks like currently within the sort of building of a community within Trove. So there's these different rooms or directories. So you have, for example, a member directory, an event calendar. You can have the different groups and subgroups and how they're all connected. And one of the most important things about Trove is letting people view the information in ways that really works for them. So if you want to see the information on a map, now you have your whole community in a geographical view. If you want to see events in a card view or a calendar view, you can kind of change the way information is displayed. And the information that's shared publicly outside of a group will then show up in the kind of Explore tab. So this is like a public Wikipedia that is collaborative. And so, for example, if I were to go to projects, these are all the projects that are shared across all the groups and individuals on Trove. And you can filter by skills that these projects are looking for, the different communities that they're shared into, the types of compensation that they're willing to exchange for people joining on. And you can also, view these projects on a map. And we're also working on the ability to have kind of more advanced filters where, for example, it can show you projects suggested that match with your skills, your interests, and your locations. And so these are the kind of global directories. And then you have your personal home, which is, okay, I found an event and I want to save it. I found a resource or a project and I want to add some notes. Then you have a place to basically organize this information where you can find it when you need it. And so, yeah, the real kind of important thing behind all this is we've been working on kind of categorizing the information in a way that's semantically understandable by people. So when you are looking for, let's see, I'll go back to the projects. All of these, filters are something that a human knows how to parse and comprehend. It's not some algorithm where you don't actually know how the information is being shared with you. And so part of this is the work of developing what these ways of categorizing the information is that is not too rigid and structured, but is dynamic and flexible. And so one of the kind of calls to action for anyone who wants to get involved is we're having an event on Wednesday that you can RSVP to through the Trove event page. And this is going to be a discussion about categorization systems and this background behind me, which is one of the ways in which information can be organized on Trove. Our vision is pretty big. It's to help catalyze transformation to a more regenerative and equitable future, and doing that by connecting people to what matters most. And how I would define that is what matters at the intersection of our personal goals, like what things we really want to do and what we want to be able to impact, and also the collective goals of society. What is needed of us in order to create the world that works for 100% of all life? With that, I posted this in the chat, but you can also sign up on catalyst.network for our beta. I put my link to contact me, and I would love to see you guys at some future events on Trove or on Wednesday. Thank you, everyone. And it was a pleasure working with the Design Science Studio partnership with this event. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the event.
Wow. Wow, Vincent. Thank you so much. I feel like this is such a needed aspect of placemaking in our digital environments. There's so much data and it can feel so abstracted from our like concrete and physical reality. And like what I felt through your presentation and through your amazing illustrations was this very grounded, like high touch understanding of data. I'm not a tech person. And so like, I felt that struggle of like, oh, there's too many things here and I don't know what any of this means. So like really receiving your presentation was such a breath of fresh air, and I could feel so many new possibilities opening up because of this platform that you've built. So thank you so much for sharing it here and for letting us use it to organize this event. And I'm so excited to learn more about your work.
Thank you. Thanks, Harris. Thanks, Roxy.
Thank you, Vincent. Putting the magical machines to work, saving us time so we can weave the magic that we're here to weave. You do that with such grace and care and gentleness and passion and pleasantness. It's a gift. It's a gift to us all. Thank you, Vincent. Only the beginning. Ugh, what a magical soup of humans. All right, friends. We have up next, I have to make sure you're back. Dan, are you back?
Hello, can you see me?
I am looking for you on the screen.
The Bali Wi-Fi is a little bit up and down, so I don't know if you guys can hear me okay.
I can hear you. Oh, I see you now. I see you. You just weren't in order for some reason. Great. Hi, y'all. This is Dan. This is our keynote.
You guys.
It's so good to see
such an amazing event. Thanks so much for inviting me. I've been really fascinated by it's pretty early here, so I only got to see the last 3 or 4 sessions. But yeah, it's such an amazing thing that you guys are doing. It's incredible. And it's so good to meet you all. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. I hope that you share a little bit about your background, which is not why, but one of the reasons when you had written to us originally, I was like, what? I will do a tiny spoiler alert that Daniel's last project that he was on for 7 years, Potato Head Bali, is something that I have really looked up to and admired so much as the creative director, right? They have almost completely circular, like closed loop system. I think you said it was like 97%, but the upcycling that you all did there and created so much like gigantic, beautiful art I've watched for so many years, and this new endeavor that you're on now is magnificent. So thank you so much. I can't wait for everyone to get to hear from you now all about Space Available and your mission to build a circular future. And weave with designers and artists and scientists and environmentalists, kind of connecting these dots between nature, design, and culture. It's so great to find you on the path. Thank you for coming and sharing your wisdom as a keynote and as a collaborator and a community member. And we're so grateful that you're here.
Thank you very much. It's an honor. I'm really excited to share with you guys what I've been up to. Okay, so I'll share my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Cool. So hey guys, very nice to meet you. This is a bit of a last minute keynote opportunity. So this document may be a little bit long-winded, so I'll go through as quickly as I can. But my name is Daniel Mitchell. I'm based in Bali, Indonesia. I've been here for 8 years now. And yeah, I'll give you a little bit of background into Space Available and how I sort of got up to this point. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the previous works I've been involved in, because that kind of tells a story of how I got to where we are today. And this is a project called LNCC, which we built in London in 2010. And LNCC it's very much a retail concept, which sort of blended the forms of fashion, art, music, design, and various other things. And the reason why this project is quite important to me was because not only was it my first business venture, but it was really the kind of the project which set me on the path to using waste as a resource and as a material. And that wasn't done with any sort of purposeful intention. Actually, it was by chance. And the reason was we had lots of sort of high ambitions from a design perspective of how we wanted the store to look. It had several rooms. It had tunnel entrance. It had a library, record store, art gallery, and all these different areas. But we didn't have any money, so we realized, okay, well, how can we actually do this with very little resources? And we sort of collaborated with a set designer called Gary Card, and this is where collaboration really comes into play of its importance. Gary had, like us, had lots of great ideas and lots of great skills, but his father was a builder, and by the nature of his work, he had a lot of waste materials lying around. And we essentially built this 6,000 square foot store out of pretty much, I would say probably 70 to 80% complete waste materials or found materials. And what that sort of opened up was this sort of idea, well, one, it's very resourceful, you know, financially and also for the environment, right? We're using waste. And secondly, it kind of really gave us a very unique aesthetic, which really kind of stood out from what anybody else was doing by the nature of what this raw material was giving us. And as you can see, there was different areas of the store. This is all kind of reclaimed wood. The other side, we kind of stripped back the building to its sort of core structure and kind of used these different blocks. And, you know, and within the store, we brought a level of culture from not only through fashion, but music, art, design. We had a bar in there. And this was a sort of infinity space that we created. And what we realized was this sort of power of design really sort of like transcended and went all around the world. We were in the New York Times, we were in all these different, unexpectedly, we got into all these great places and we started winning awards and everything else. And I got to the point, you know, I was about 25 at this period and I was feeling very deeply unfulfilled by what I was doing, even though we had this great store, very successful, and I thought I was living the dream. And actually, as I was sort of growing as an individual, as a designer, and as a thinker, I kind of looked into what we were actually doing, and we were essentially a fashion retailer. And it was at that point I sort of started researching a lot more into the industry and realizing how destructive it was. Behind gas and oil, it was the second biggest polluter, you know, of dyes and waste and all of these sort of things. It was tremendously bad for the environment. And that sort of got me questioning, actually, what do I want to do with my life? And I was feeling very disconnected from nature. I was living in the center of London. And I really wanted to sort of like think a bit deeper into what I was doing and how I could build a more sustainable lifestyle, not only for myself, but in my own practice. And in 2014, that led me on to moving to Bali. My wife is Indonesian and we just had our first child and we thought, okay, well, maybe we can go there and grow vegetables and, you know, maybe look at sort of regenerative systems and, you know, more than anything, really connect with nature. And I didn't really expect to get a job or anything like that. I expected just to sort of immerse myself in the local culture, potentially set up a design studio. And it took an unexpected twist where as soon as I arrived here, I ended up taking a job as a creative director for a beach club, very unexpectedly, a very, very popular beach club by the name of Potato Head. I don't know if anybody's seen this before, but in Indonesia, it's a very influential brand. It attracts almost 4,000 people per day to the venue. And, you know, it was a place back then of, you know, music, drinks, fun on the beach sort of thing. And when I met the CEO there, I sort of told him my vision of trying to sort of build a more regenerative, sustainable future. And he sort of suggested, well, why don't you use this brand as a bit of a platform for all of these ideas you've got? And he was thinking the same as well, a guy called Ronald Achilles, fantastic guy. And we thought, okay, well, this could actually be quite interesting because if we want to really instigate change on a big scale, this is a pretty big scale venue and it's, you know, going global as well. So we went on a mission really of, okay, how do we sort of take this big operation and try and build a zero waste philosophy? And is that even possible when we're doing this type of scale? I mean, at that point, the brand wasn't even recycling at a minimal level. And there's no recycling facility at all in Bali either. So there was a lot of work to be done there, but we sort of set ourselves on this vision of creating a circular system that, you know, we didn't have to compromise from an experience level or from a consumer level or sort of have to downgrade, let's say, of what we were doing within the operation. And as I joined, it was very apparent, we were on the beach in Bali and it was very apparent that there was a big, big problem. I mean, every day we were seeing trash coming up on the beach. It gets particularly bad in the rainy season. And it was just devastating. I mean, the amount of trash that was coming up on the beaches was just heartbreaking. We sort of, at that moment, sort of declared, okay, let's try and really do what we can to stop this or to try and create some system within our venue of tackling this and creating exposure around these issues. And we went on this journey of using art and design as a vehicle for change. Because we do attract a specific crowd and a cultural crowd, we rather than preaching at people and saying, okay, let's everybody, you know, finger pointing and taking on a specific role of that maybe activists could do better than us. We thought, okay, well, let's try and use design and art as a vehicle to, you know, make people stop and look around and see what's going on. And this is an example of an art installation called 5,000 Lost Souls, where we collected 5,000 flip-flops on the beaches in front of our venue and up the coast of Bali with our artist Lena Klaus. And this really attracted a lot of attention. It was the main sculpture as you came into the venue. And it just got a lot of people talking, and it got a lot of good exposure. And it really led us on to creating a lot more in this sort of vein. We built a lot of infrastructure from industrial composting. We worked with all of our suppliers to ensure that what was being sent in, wasn't sent in single-use plastic, which was very challenging when you're dealing with hundreds of suppliers who, a lot of them don't really understand anything about the issues that we're facing. And there's no education here in Indonesia for people to sort of, especially the sort of local people that have, been by default living with nature. They've been, weaving basketry every day, giving offerings on the streets. And this is all done with banana leaf. And over the past 20 years, Bali has been invaded by single-use plastic. And that didn't come with any sort of like education, or, no one really sort of knew it was bad. So whilst a lot of things in Bali were swept into the river and burnt, unfortunately, generally it was organic, like leaves and that sort of thing. And that sort of, over the course of the last 20 years, changed to plastic. And so we set on this sort of role of trying to educate, starting with our own family, our own staff. It was 1,000 strong, and their families, and really tried, as I mentioned, try to build the system, but also try to showcase how we could use design and art as a sort of vehicle to really engage people. So this is a lab we built called Sustainism, where we send all of our waste. Some of it was getting composted, some of it would go into this sort of lab system, and we would turn our waste from our restaurants, from our operation, into products which could then be used in the hotel as amenities, or given to guests as gifts and that sort of thing. So as you can see, there was a blend of recycled plastic, food waste, and experimenting with sort of various other waste forms as well. We would make chairs, we would make furniture for the restaurants, all from recycled plastic and waste. We were even sort of using our discarded coconuts, which, believe it or not, coconuts is it's very, very bad for the environment. And there's so many, millions of people drink coconuts in Bali, and they get landfilled, and the gases that come from coconuts are extremely bad for the environment. So we would do projects like this, where we would build a pop-up coconut bar from waste coconut. And again, it was really about the message behind what could be done with waste material. We would do a lot of events, so we would build stages from 19,000 recycled bottles. So these are sort of water bottles that were just destined for landfill. Some of them were collected from the rivers, and we would again, tell this story and this narrative through an event or through a concert, And we also explored this notion of working with natural materials. This is bamboo, and I don't know if you guys have much experience with bamboo, but it really is one of the most sustainable or regenerative materials that's out there for a number of reasons. The way it grows, the way it regenerates, it's good for the soil, and it's just an incredibly powerful and strong material. And that led us on to do an event called Future Design Week, where we opened up the possibility of the sort of new material science and waste as a raw material, building hotels from that, and really putting a lot of emphasis on craftsmanship. So everything that we were building was by hand. So each brick was made in the local kilns here in Bali. We commissioned 4 million handmade bricks, which was all natural and built by the artisans of Bali. And really, not only putting emphasis on the sort of future of where design could go, but also really kind of shining a light on the sort of indigenous craft that still exists here, and kind of marrying the two sensibilities. Again, that's the lab and some of the exhibitions we were doing, turning children's playgrounds from recycled plastic as well. And sort of, as I said, taking this into interior. And then, and then in 2020, the pandemic struck, and literally, the whole kind of commercial world of tourism in Bali stopped completely. And on every single street, which before was advertising beach clubs and hotels and commercial brands, there's billboards everywhere around Bali. I don't know if anybody's been here. And they all just sort of they were all just blank, and they all just said space available, because everybody thought, okay, we're in a pandemic, advertising was gone. And space available was a name that I'd been sort of like looking at for a while for a project. And I just thought for me, it became very fitting, because the pandemic had opened. I sort of saw the opportunity in this time of disruption, because generally in times of disruption, this is when sort of big ideas can grow. And when we sort of really need to rebuild from the ground up. And my vision or my hope was that we could learn from the past and sort of rebuild and reflect and rebuild for a better future. And I thought, okay, well, there's a space available here, which wasn't here before, which I feel could be a very powerful space for us all to, reconnect, reimagine, and redesign how the future could look, and really bring some of these ideas of, what Buckminster Fuller's been championing, of, more with less, and how could we make sort of the world work for all of humanity, and using design as a vehicle for change and pollution as a raw material. And we started asking the questions, well, okay, well, we're in a system of connection, right? We're all on social media, and this was touched on one of the talks above. We've never been more connected, yet at the same time, we're all deeply disconnected from ourselves and from nature. And that sort of gap seemed to be widening. So we thought, okay, well, how could we sort of really use this time to reconnect? Because we are all interconnected beings, and the one system that we're on in the spaceship Earth. How could we sort of, really bring this notion back to the surface, and through education and community, and ultimately making space for ourselves in order to make space for the environment around us. And how could we sort of reimagine how the future could look? This sort of vision of utopia, is that even possible? What sort of future do we really want for ourselves and the whole of humanity? And could we really design our way out of this mess and sort of look into bringing the circular economy forward into a more mainstream level and touching more people than just the sort of small design community that I was involved in? And sort of looking at, okay, well, if we can reimagine that, well, how do we sort of redesign that? Looking at nature's principles of circularity, and also on a society level, giving people the opportunity to be able to, be part of the system and really kind of design their lives around them. And we sort of envisaged the sort of new green world, which the R3 principles really kind of stand for. And we always go back to sort of Buckminster Fuller and sort of the vision that he taught us in terms of, the pollution is nothing but the resources we are not harvesting, and we allow them to disperse because we've been ignorant of their value. And when I look around here in Bali, but all around the world, we've just discarded all of this waste. There's plastic everywhere, there's pollution everywhere, and that is a very valuable resource which we're not using. And our kind of mission was to really kind of shine a light on this and say, okay, how could we collectively reunite and showcase that actually this sort of wasteful society that we're in is completely the wrong way of looking at it. We're sort of taking, we're making, and we're wasting. And we feel we want to sort of, build a more circular future and really use design as a vehicle for change, where we can, look at mainstream culture and really make some impacts. So obviously, right now we're in the linear economy, and that is the accepted economy within most industries. And obviously, we're pushing towards a more circular economy, sort of going back into the system. And Space Available, the design platform, which I'm about to show you, it literally started with this note. Back in March 2020, the pandemic hit, and I started writing notes about how this future could potentially look and sharing that on Instagram. And these notes started sort of getting traction, and people were sharing them. And then from those notes, I then started sharing other things that I like in terms of, systems. Like surprisingly, none of my friends or people that I was working with had even heard of people like Buckminster Fuller, yet they were getting very interested into regenerative systems and living a more sustainable lifestyle. And this sort of whole counterculture movement that was going on in the 60s and 70s. And we started sort of rehashing a lot of this old content, and at the same, and releasing that on social media. And then at the same time starting, having these conversations, starting the podcast series, all around, exploring this notion of creating a more regenerative future, talking to bamboo makers or scientists or food ecology sort of innovators, professional skateboarders or artists or philosophers, and all different types of people. And that conversation started leading on to, well, we really need to collaborate in order to, create objects from waste, which we feel could try and, shine a light on some of these issues. And so we started collaborating with people from really the cultural space, people who were involved in music or design, who had a lot of influence over mainstream culture. And so here you can see making chairs from waste, creating objects, water bottle holders, even t-shirts, garments from waste, with this vision of creating a more circular future. And really this sort of like this notion of collaborating to make beautiful objects is fantastic. And but ultimately for us, we want to use the power of collaboration in order to educate. So every time we create an object like the chair, or if we're hand weaving recycled plastic water bottles or making upcycled t-shirts, how can we sort of spread this idea to as many people as possible? So we do a series of workshops in order to try and really inspire people through collaboration, with an end result to try and educate people. To inspire a new system. And what we found was this notion of collaboration, it got us into lots of different interesting places. So this is one of our circular economy t-shirts, which was a collaboration with Alex Olson, who's a skateboarder. And this t-shirt essentially promotes the circular economy. And on the back, it has the philosophy of circular design. And this is an artist called Little Baby. He has about 20 million followers on Instagram. He got an award, and unexpectedly to us, he turned up in a space available t-shirt promoting the circular economy, and it became a bit of a talking point. And that for us just showcased the power of sort of thinking within circular design, but using collaboration in order to change, to create the exposure that we need. And these are some of the works which we created, and unexpectedly it ended up really getting in a lot of different places all around the world. So this case study of using plastic as a raw material, furniture, objects, clothing. And this was a chair we did with Peggy Goo, who's a musician, and this just went all over the internet and created a lot of great exposure. It's in several museums now in Amsterdam and Singapore, and it's also sold on different places around the world. And what we realized was, okay, great, we're making stuff out of trash, and we're creating tremendous exposure, but ultimately we're now shipping trash around the world, and that's not great either. So our next step is to look at bringing the system on the level of localization. So we're a global brand, but we want to try and set up these recycling centers in each territory around the world. So it's the UK, Europe, America, and local jobs, local people, local waste, local exposure, but with a real kind of global community vision. And so far, since we launched in May last year, we've recycled over 1 million plastic bottles throughout all of our products, the architecture projects that we've been working on. And we partner with a Surabayan company called Robberies, who have endlessly been cleaning streets, rivers, and landfills around Java, and also Sungai Watch, which is a fantastic river cleaning organization here in Bali, who've literally been cleaning every river, or a lot of rivers within areas of Bali over the past year. I'll share you some of their links. It's fantastic work they're doing. And we come in from a design perspective where their hard work of collecting recycled plastic and waste to try and use design as the vehicle to tell that story. And also on the level of regenerative cultures, we said, okay, well, how can we use some of the profits that we're making to not only clean up the rivers, but sort of put it back into the natural system? And we're working with the Sumatran Orangutan Society, where we've planted over 10,000 trees since May last year. And that's a mission that we want to try and keep going on. So this is the Trash for Trees project, where we're literally collecting trash in order to plant trees. And this was a collaboration with Alex Olson that really, we generated some money towards this. And these sort of recycling and regenerative circular systems, we've been now telling that story in all different locations around the world. And very commercial department stores like Selfridges in London, for example, we told the story of what we're doing and worked with local recyclers from the precious plastic community in London. In Bangkok, we did an exhibition as well, and we've been in the Singapore Design Center for the past 3 months as well, and got ourselves in all these different places that we just did not expect when we launched in May. And really what this shows us is the power of design as a vehicle for change and a powerful of collaboration. And we really feel that this is only the beginning of where things are going. And I mean, we owe a lot of our teachings and philosophy to Buckminster Fuller, and we're just learning and we're just starting, and we're really privileged and really honored that we get to connect with communities like yourself to try and learn more, and we're become on this journey together. And that's about it from us. I hope that wasn't a little bit too long-winded. I tried to rush through as quickly as possible, but yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity to tell our story, and it's fantastic to hear yours as well. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. It was such an inspiration. These are the kinds of stories that I just want on billboards, on space available billboards all around the world.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right on. So we've got another speaker coming up. Sequoia is going to join us here. And see, Sequoia, yeah, there you are.
I'm here.
Hi. Yes, so Sequoia's son is a multidisciplinary artist who creates from the soul with her experience in evolutionary ecology, synthetic biology, and 3D studio art. She aims to bridge the gaps between material design, ecological science, and the arts. And what a act to follow up, but it's beautiful to see this weaving of all these incredible artists that are so focused on the environment and material and creative ways of weaving it all. So welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm just waiting for my slides to load. I've been opening way too many tabs. Okay, got them.
Wonderful.
Here we go. Da-da-da. Let's see. I am getting a new computer soon, so these problems won't be a problem soon. Oh, no. Ah. So sorry, guys. It is a tough act to follow up. I also care a lot about circularity.
But very relevant also, super relevant to what you're doing.
Yes. Oh dear. Well, I did not plan for this. There we go.
And if you need to, Sequoia, just drop the link in the chat and I can screen share for you.
Okay. Okay. Whew. I'm here. Okay, so imagine a world where you can charge your electronics from the air. I know that might seem a little incredible, but I believe it is possible. And today I'm going to be talking about electric skin, and it's a self-charging skin for electronics. And we are hoping, my team and I are hoping to inspire positive change for the environment and people. And my name is Sequoia Fisher. So this is my team that I've been working on this project with. And we are a very multidisciplinary team from Egypt, Venezuela, the US, and France. And we all have a lot of skills. So without further ado, this is what it looks like so far. So our skin has this beautiful texture, and this texture has a very important functional component. It increases the surface area of the electronic. And on the left is an image from a paper published in Nature by scientists at UMass. And it's their discovery of protein nanowires being able to charge or to generate power from the air. And it uses the water in the air, actually, so extra electrons in the air's humidity. And it can do it at most like ambient humidity, so a large range of humidities. It doesn't have to be the tropics. And then on the right is Geobacter sulfur reducent. And it's the actual bacteria that produces these nanowires. And it's a protein. It comes off of their bodies, and they use it to conduct current and to I don't think they know exactly why they do this. They're still doing more research to figure it out, but yeah, so Geobacter sulfur reducens, and it does turn out that there's others out there. It's not just Geobacter. So we're using this amazing shape because we need more surface area to connect to more air so we can generate more power. And it's modeled off of the guts villi, which also needs a huge amount of surface area to collect all of the nutrients that you're eating and consuming to absorb it into your bodies as your body's power source. So it's kind of like we're giving your electronics a gut. And to house all of these nanowires, we are going to be using regenerative materials like chitosan and alginate and sericin as a binding agent that comes from silk. And also, we do need a small amount of gold to actually conduct current. And this is a exploded view of our application on a cell phone of electric skin. And it's the bottom layer is made out of the chitosan, and it's going to be 3D printed into our desired shape. The middle layer are the nanowires, and we're planning on spraying them on. And the top layer is a porous alginate that will allow for air passage through its surface and down to the nanowires. Oops, a little too far. So before we actually try to make a phone or any other more complicated electronic that might take a lot more power, we were dreaming of first applying this skin to something a little more artistic. And so we are thinking about making a light that has a large surface area and it doesn't take too much power to actually charge LEDs. And this would also add some really cool materiality to your home. And this is our rendering. So step back, relax, and imagine having one of these amazing lights on your wall that you could actually physically touch. And it would be a very different texture than what you're used to. Maybe a little more squishy, maybe a little more pliable. And this texture is what is powering your electronic. And yeah. And we're looking for some funding. And please follow us at Biotechnium. And we could use some help from any physicists or electrical engineers to help make some of the electrical schematics. So yeah, please reach out to me if you have any questions at sequoiafisher@gmail.com. And I'll go back to this slide. Just so if people have any questions, I don't know how much more time I have, but I can also go wherever you to a breakout room or I don't know. That's me.
Wow, that's fascinating. I look forward to being able to interact with this someday.
Yes, it's still a little speculative, but I'm trying to connect with the labs who actually have these protein nanowires, so I can actually make a real prototype.
Fascinating. Amazing. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I might know who to connect you to, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, I used to, in a past life, I was an astrophysicist, and I ended up going back and doing an artist residency. It's like astrophysics, biophysics, and nanophysics, and I did a bunch of work with a team that was studying protein nanowires. Ta-da!
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I'd love to connect.
You're my hookup. I need to find a good lab to work in as well. If you
It's
have
in
any.
Tennessee though, that one. So, but they would know, other people. It's a network of scholars. Scholars find scholars in the little corner of the world, and they stay close somehow. So, yay! Amazing. Look at what we have available to us in the natural world.
I know.
Ugh.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Oh,
Okay.
Thank you, Sequoia.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's been great seeing everyone else's work, being able to connect with them a little more.
These salons are so special. I'm so grateful for all of the effort and care and time and support and mutual support and just like spiritual upliftment that this space has created and continues to create and it's created in the past. Thanks for being a part of it and for preparing everyone. I know it takes a lot of preparing spiritually, time, all the things. So it's really beautiful to come together in this way, and so grateful to have this community in the Design Science Studio, the Vision Train, and all of our partners and collaborators and friends. I speaking of collaborators and friends, through a collaborator and friend, previous team member of the Design Science Studio, our interdisciplinarian who is now an advisor, Samantha Sapaya, I was connected to Hugo Aranjo, who also goes by Viviro Fisheri. And Hugo came last year as one of our keynotes to Dissolve and Bloom Part 1. And so really excited today because we get to have Part 2, and now Hugo is actually part of the Design Science Studio as a revolutionary. So we've officially made a full circle, and that is the magic that we're weaving. Hugo Araujo, Hugo, how do I say your last name? Araujo?
You did it right, Araujo.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Araujo.
Araujo.
Araujo is a creative
Perfect.
healer with global experience in different business sectors such as marketing, sales, sustainability, conservation, and innovation. Hugo is also a biomimicry artist, which is where viviofishiri.com and the Viviro Fishiri artist name kind of materializes. That metamorphosized after a deep reconnection with nature and indigenous cultures. His designs are harmonized with life, and his wings are digital. His strength relies in simple and beautiful visualizations that allow the understanding of the new and regenerative world. Would you like to introduce the video at all? Oh, your face on the screen because you managed to get back in time. Where are you? Are you on camera?
Actually, I did the first one.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, so
Hi.
please go with the video. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Please go with the video because
I'll
my
turn on the
internet is
video.
not so stable.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad that you got to join us in person for this moment. Thank you for creating this beautiful work of art. Now we will enjoy it. Hola. Oops, wrong one. Da, 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 da. There we go.
Hola, my name is Hugo Araujo. I'm an evolutionary, and I want to welcome you to Costa Rica, where nature is still alive. Regeneration is happening everywhere, and this is a big message that I want to transmit. Let's do it. Let's regenerate. Let's evolve. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy this bioart. So what is bioart? Think about Da Vinci, Picasso, Kandinsky, Miro, Humboldt, Haeckel, but also Buddha, Jesus, Allah, Santa Claus, St. Nicholas. It's all bioart. They were all talking about different things related to nature, the spirituality, the science, the wisdom, the life, nature, respect, generosity. All together is what it means bioart. For the moment, we are in this mutually assured imbecility where Russians, Americans, and others are having nuclear weapons, and it becomes the greatest potential for ending us as a species. And this is very, very dangerous. It is called a revolution, an industrial revolution, an agricultural revolution. But is it how revolution triumphs? I don't know. So I like to think more like we are toroids, we are bacteria. We are also an evolution. We are flux, we are cells. We are energy, we are matter, we are consciousness, we are reality, we are collaboration, we are electromagnetic fields, we are global healers, and we are all nature. And this is why I like to present this part. What if we can really act as a species, but as a species for a thriving ecosystem? If we think about us as an alive, one species, the same planet, with unique points of view, but multiple, with a collective advantage, we are heading an unknown transformation. And this is very important. It is unknown. We don't know what the future looks like, so we need to unlearn if we want to create regeneration. We need a purpose, we need to exchange, we need transformation. As a human, we have creativity, we are evolution, we are thriving with ecosystems, nature, soul, brain, all together. We cannot just divide ourselves. It is really about seeing us as a whole, as one regenerative path, as one regenerative pathway, co-evolutionary process, an interdependent one, an interdependent transformation. We cannot work on our own. We cannot be just ourselves. We need to understand it is about interdependency. And interdependency is about reciprocity, respect, integrity, love, expansion. How beautiful. So please stop pollution, stop nuclear weapons. We need to evolve, stop and evolve if we want to see humanity rising. What about thinking about an evolutionary economy in which one there is abundance? We can see the market as an ecosystem, energy exchanges, interdependence, and positive industries. What about wealth transfer in a different way? What about wealth transformation? Where life is the capital and nothing else than life. Let's think about the mycorrhizal fungi. The mycorrhizal provide with the conditions to thrive. It is an ecosystem engineer. It is a sticky living seam that holds soil together. It increases the volume of water that soil can absorb. It supports intricate food webs. It's a keystone organism, an underground community, an organically managed fields, supports everything and feed the planet. It's an amazing association. It's where symbiosis happens. And if we think about this mycorrhizal, then what a natural high. This is really, really cool. But what if we see ourselves as one superorganisms, and then we think in our evolutionary advantage as collective advantage, as this possibility of having a cultural evolution, and then accelerate this evolution, and thinking about what is then our ecological niche. So let's add some meaning. Let's bring people, space, communities, place, and all this culture together, because we need to experience life in a different way. We need to behave in a different way if we want to evolve. So what if we think about better decisions, but not just personal, but also planetary, aligned with life? I think this is a path to move forward, because we are cosmic beings and galactic life. The whole universe is out there waiting for us. I like to think ourselves as rainbow dragons, because we are meant to transform these colors of the rainbow into something solid, into something beautiful, full of colors. And please, let go of your dreams and build your visions and put more intentions in what you are doing, because this is what we need right now. We need to have these wings and this heart to fly and to put all these kind of things together, but especially with love, because without love we're not going anywhere. So we need this light for us. And one of my visions when I was having COVID was about the planet, and the planet was all the same energy. And this is what I felt, like we're all pieces of light. And if we think about our uniqueness as humanity, then I thought we are the same matter. So how can we actually express it? I know that we are intelligent, but it is also about happiness, love, energy, peace, creativity, all this together. We are part of the same energy. And what is this energy that is happening there? So if I think about it, if I feel it, then I think about the earth, but earth and heart and heart, earth and heart, it is just the same energy. Thank you. Lo hice con amor.
That was so beautiful. Does anyone want to share a little voice? A little...
Sorry, I think it cut it off. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it played
still
till the
around.
end. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was almost the end. Yeah, perfect. Yeah,
It played all the way. It played all the way.
perfect.
Yeah. Oh, my video's off. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for the opportunity. And just, it was made with love. And really, yesterday I recorded it during the night because I had an emergency today and I didn't know if I was going to be here. And I'm happy to be here sharing. And what you could hear was just nature voices behind me. It was under the stars, and it was inspiring. So really, really love you. Thank you.
Love you. Thank you. Thank you for teleporting us to Costa Rica and really drawing the lines between the urgency and what's possible, and animating that, the anima, the life within, and for really weaving your passion and taking the time to continue to create these kinetic typography journeys that connect us all to the living systems, principles. Really beautiful. Very grateful. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. And I put my email there. If someone wants to keep moving forward, I'm completely open. And just for everyone to know, one part of my work is also Seven Vortex as a platform. And we are cooperating with everyone who wants to keep evolving. I think we need to out collaborate competition, right? So
Yes.
thanks a lot.
Thank you. There's a breakout room if you have time if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, totally. Let's go. I'm just unsure about my connection, but it seems to be working all right. So
okay. Well, let's
perfect.
see if in the chat, if anyone wants to chat with we'll go let us know, and you can self-select into the breakout room. And thank you. Thank you. And I'll hand it over to Harris now for a special surprise.
Woohoo! It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Rafaela. Earth dweller, questioner of the status quo, seeker of meaning, and in awe of the beauty and complexity of the natural world. Born and raised in France, she comes from a long multicultural line of explorers and travelers who inspired her to dare and expand her horizons. She intimately believes that art and storytelling have the power to provoke current thinking and ignite change. And there is no challenge more pressing than raising awareness and taking action to rebalance our climate. Thank you so much for being here. Take it away.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's so wonderful to be part of this community. First of all, I want to say that. I want to share with you today a little bit more about what I've been working on with the support of the Design Science Studio and a few other communities I've been participating on, specifically around the future of food. So after essentially a career of like 15 years in digital health, looking at personalized medicine and personalized services, I decided to actually focus on the future of food. And why? Because I believe that there are ways that the choices we make 3 times a day are a way that we can empower ourselves individually to regenerate the planet as we nourish ourselves. So I have been researching a lot on seaweed, for example. And what I'm really after is to figure out a way to educate. I mean, to first, like, I guess, archives. I'm very, very interested in what Vincent's doing, because a lot of what I'm looking at right now is this intersection of foods that are regenerative, meaning like they're perhaps carbon capturing as they're growing, or they're part of a permaculture or some ecosystem as they're being grown or made. On the one hand, that they're nutritiously rich, so they provide either disease prevention or simply, like, nourishment for our bodies. And also, the third aspect really important to me is benefiting the local economy and improving resilience of our communities. So essentially, my goal is to help transform nutrition and our food system to reduce social inequality and improve public health and overall quality of life. And for instance, we know traditionally Black and Brown communities have had less access to nutritious foods and a higher propensity for chronic diseases and obesity, as well as sometimes dramatically reduced life expectancy. There's this study that was done, this public health study that was done, actually, I believe it was in Baltimore, that showed like a 20-year life expectancy difference between communities in different zip codes that were essentially like 5 miles away. And I just think this is outrageous. And, that I think that we have ways to, like, not look at the future of food as something like shameful, or that, gives us guilt, or like, why aren't you vegan? Or like, why are you eating this thing that's, wrapped in plastic? Like, I feel like there's just so many ways that it's so complicated to nourish ourselves in a way that's good for us. But I think that there's sort of this additional layer that we have this responsibility to really understand and add to this question. And so with that, I'm on this journey to help change behaviors, which I know is very complicated. I have done a lot of work in this field, but I'm really hopeful that with the right partners and experiences, we can shift mindsets and contribute to the regenerative economy. And the reason I'm focusing on food first is because I believe that it's one of the perhaps easiest, it's not easy, but it's like probably the question that most people ask themselves, like, what can I do? Should I become vegan? Should I not become vegan? What does that mean? And so I believe that there's so much information out there and so much confusion that there are lots of ways that we can really bring all of this knowledge together. And the reality is a lot of the foods that are being developed today, either lab grown or like plant-based proteins and things like that. I mean, there's just so many questions around like what's actually healthy and what's actually regenerative and how do we know? So with that, I am on this path, this adventure of creating this organization called Delicious Future, that's going to be encompassing of a number of things, including a venture studio. But the first sort of iteration and manifestation of Delicious Future is called Future Feasts. And Future Feasts is essentially a series of dinners that is going to be showcasing the foods of tomorrow today. So what that means is at each dinner, we convene 40 people that are warm-hearted, definitely curious, brilliant, and really care about the food system, whether they are involved in it or not. And we bring up provocative questions, such as, for instance, is becoming vegan actually good for the environment? And we collaborate with star chefs to craft and serve mouth-watering meals that are made from regenerative, nutritious, and locally sourced foods. So each future feast is going to be its own experience, where you get to experience the future of food today and taste unique dishes created exclusively for this specific dinner, meet like-minded collaborators, engage in thought-provoking conversations, and contribute your imagination and talent to making the future of food a reality today. So we are launching our first dinner March 5th in San Francisco. We started sending invitations, and I'm very excited that we've gotten actually a lot of really positive response. The next is going to be around the Future Food Tech Conference that's taking place in San Francisco as well at the end of March. Then we have a couple of dinners already set up in LA in April. And there's more to come, Chicago and New York for sure. And as you guys know, I'm French, so I already have French friends that are like, so when are you doing this in Paris? So of course I want to do that in Paris as well. And I think there's lots and lots and lots of opportunities there. It's almost endless, it's incredible. And there's so many ways that I think we can help really move the needle on that. For instance, like around educating kids, not so much like giving them like the abstract education, but really making them taste some of these things. So I'm working with Edible Schoolyard. My first advisor is the chief of staff of Alice Waters, for example, if you guys know, sort of the precursor of California cuisine, sort of like the queen of cuisine. And so it's super exciting. And yeah, so I'm open to collaborations of all sorts. I am currently looking for collaborators, both for Delicious Future and for Future Feasts. I'm looking for a lot of creative collaboration. One of the things, for example, that I really want to do during these dinners is when we're showcasing the regenerative foods, is to be able to say, here's the story of the specific ingredient, and here's the essentially like regenerative level or sort of measure of the specific ingredient, where we sourced it, is it forage, is it wild, and of course the nutritious balance too. I was actually working today on this essentially design framework for all the ingredients we're going to have for the first dinner, which is going to be a very simple way of showing this. It's going to be the menu on one side and then a map of Northern California on the other side, because our first dinner is called the Wild Coast, and it's all based around what can be found and what's being grown here on the coast of Northern California. And so I have lots of ideas of how we can make this much more exciting and interactive, and in fact, like collaborative, and across the different dinners where people can really learn about this regeneration and nutrition aspect of the foods. So I'll stop there. I am happy to answer any questions. I'm very much looking forward to creative collaborators who are excited about this, making either the feasts amazing, helping to tell the story, and also work on the venture studio.
Thank you so much, Rafaela. That was such a powerful presentation. I mean, culture is so deeply shaped by food, and I think community as well. And not just teaching about like the regenerative ingredients, but also like weaving regenerative community around the table is so powerful. So I'm excited. I can already feel the conversations that will be had at those tables, and really looking forward to seeing your project grow and evolve. And thank you so much. And with that, it's my honor to introduce our next guest, Benny. welcome Benny to the stage.
Hey,
Woohoo!
everybody.
Benny
So
Oyama's
happy to be here.
mission. Oh, yes. Thank you. So happy to have you here serenading us. Benny Oyama's mission is to aid in humanity's process of becoming fully expressed and intimately interrelated beings through music and storytelling. He has carried out this mission across the globe as a performer, singer, and through a commitment to receiving and sharing sacred songs. The poetry and harmony of his music is delivered with a broad spectrum of vocal styles and intricate guitar work, predominantly inspired by the richness of Brazilian and American folk traditions, as well as Eastern music and jazz modalities. Thank you, Benny.
Wow, thanks for that introduction, Harris. You're such a great facilitator. I can't wait to laugh and cry and sing and dance with everyone and eat around Raphael's table in New York and Paris and on Mars, in the jungle, the sea and the mountain. I feel really honored to witness everyone's projects and everyone's development, and we're all so vulnerable putting ourselves out here and trying to do something good. It's really humbling, and I feel really grateful. I want to share a song with you all that's about the guru. And the guru is, of course, the one who sheds light, the teacher. The teacher comes in many forms, sometimes in embodied form. Sometimes it comes as a project, it comes as a friend, it comes as a challenge, it comes as sickness, it comes in joy, it comes in gratitude. It comes with everything that life gives to us. I left my apartment in New York City about 2 years ago after 10 years of working with music there and more years before that, and traveling and performing internationally. Really called by medicine and a need to get out of the city and to understand things from a distance. Originally with the DSS, my project was to work on a collective of ceremonies and music and art creators to create a chain of ceremonial practitioners. And somehow through the iterations of life, it's morphed into a Dharma album. I met here in Mexico City Khenpo Rinpoche, who's a new guru and spiritual friend in my life. And this song's very much inspired by him, by everything I've encountered here as things change and I change with life. Me and life changes. So this song is called Spiritual Friend. So come with me to the piano, and it's my pleasure to sing for everyone.
are my spiritual friend. I'm gonna walk with you till the end. Please, won't you walk with me? And we're gonna live quite happily. So now if you got it, you can sing it with me. You are my spiritual friend. I'll walk with you till the end. We're all walking each other home. Please know you won't go it alone. Vadraguru Padma Siddhi Hum. Om Aham 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 Vadraguru Padma Siddhi Hum. Gracias. Thank you.
Wow, that was so beautiful. That just took us on a journey.
Do I have time for another?
Please.
Roxy's nodding her head.
As long as our source is okay with it.
Absolutely. Enjoying so much, baby. Go for it. Please bless us with your beautiful art.
Thank you. Let's do it. Hallelujah. Have you ever felt hallelujah in your body? It really comes like an explosion. It comes like a glass of water when you need it, when you're thirsty. It comes like a flash of white light, just waking you up, shaking you up. One of my favorite songs is all about hallelujah. I'm working with a rabbi now in New York to learn sacred Jewish music and reconnect with my heritage. And this hallelujah is by a very special Jew named Leonard Cohen. If you know it, please sing it with me.
Now I've heard there was a secret chord David played and pleased the Lord. You don't really care for music, do ya? It go like this: fourth, the fifth, the minor fall and the major. Baffled king composure, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof. Her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to the kitchen chair. She broke your throne. She cut your hair. From your lips she drew the hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. 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 Well, maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever heard from love was how to shoot at someone who outdrew you. But it's not a crime that you're here tonight. It's not some pilgrim who's seen the light. No, it's a cold, it's a very broken hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah. 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 Oh, hallelujah. Well, baby, I've been here before. I know this room and I walk this floor. I used to live alone before I knew you. Well, I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Love it, not a victory march to go. Walking, yeah. Oh, hallelujah, 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 ooh, hallelujah, ooh, yeah. There was a time that you let me know what's really going on below. But now you never show it to me, do you? But remember when I moved in you, the holy dove was moving too. From your lips she drew the hallelujah. Oh, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Woohoo! Woo! Thank you.
So much, Benny.
Beautiful.
Benny, thank you. Benny, may I ask one request? I'm doing closing ceremony and I would love to read a poetry I wrote just recently and in English. Would you mind to playing guitar for me just to create magic environment?
I would love that.
Ooh, let's do it.
Yeah.
Is that
Shall
what
we
you
do
want
it?
to start with?
We begin?
Like any you're a seed. Do you want me to show you? Hear the sound that penetrates all dimensions. Time and space. This is Sur, ether. Breathe deeply. The air element sets everything in motion. Around and within you, within every cell. Do you feel the warmth of your palms? Touch your heart, and this is where the fire elements lives. In your heart resides the sun. It infuses you with life. The water element flows in the veins in your limbs, like a mighty river flowing into the great sea. Purifies and revitalizes your entire body. Notice how firmly you stand on your feet. Feel the soil with your heels. This is the energy of the earth element. It includes all of the nutritions necessary for life. It gives shape to everything invisible. Now plant the seed in the ground, water it, Let the sun warm the soil, expect magic to happen. The movement inside of the seed is a sacred act of transformation. The seed out. It makes its way through the layers of earth, receiving all of the nourishment it needs to grow into mighty tree. Workut, spirit of the earth. Workut is everything you see with your eyes and feel with your whole body, immersed in the rhythm of the modern world. You can forget about the existence of the invisible world. Salgunkut, spirit of air. Salgunkut is the intellect, it is the wisdom and intuition of all that is woven into cosmic web of life. Yakut, spirit. Yakut is the connection you have with your roots, with your ancestors. From the very beginning, each person entering into this world comes through the mother earth. My grandfather taught me that Kutsur is a soul that lives in you, in me, in each blade of grass, in each tree, each bird, each ant. We modern people have forgotten about the existence of an invisible web of life. We no longer believe in magic, the magic that is everywhere, the magic that orchestrates the transformation of a seed, a tree, that gives us the ability to breathe, to see, to hear. This is all magic. We have moved away from our native lakes and rivers. We have lost our respect for the elders and our ancestors. Our elders still live among us. Our ancestors are still with us, each of them carrying their own rich culture and worthy traditions. Your ancient ancestors always lead you. Sometimes we're afraid to look into the past, run away, or we try to fight, resisting what was can weaken our kut. If we wish to enhance, we must face our fears. We must love ourselves in the dark, express compassion, forgive, and learn to dance in and between the different realms. Is what connects all three kuts, all three spirits together. Remember, the whole kutser is, of course, it's you. Thank you. Kuman namustabut parang orang kaitare. Paraların. Ühe doydum, orta doydum, allara doydum, iççilere, barı, algısta takıt, arçala takıt, arangatçala takıt boluktum. Dom, dom, domini dom. Maqtal. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Harsor.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting, and thank you for organizing this. And I've been listening everything from the beginning to the end, and I've been setting up my microphone, all of this technical part, and at the same time it was very meditative listening to all of you. And thank you, Roxy and the whole team who are putting this together. And we are entering into a very interesting realm where the transformation, when you enter into something, into other dimension, it requires transformation. It's a little bit painful. So, but this is part of cycle of life, and the lineage I come from, shamanic lineage of Saka people. We don't use plant medicine, but in order to be a shaman, a healer, future shaman, they go through the pain and suffering and very severe sickness, almost near death experience over 10 years. So that's the rite of the passage of Saka shamans to be a healer. And we do believe that the best healer and teacher is us for ourselves. So I wish you to awaken your inner healers, your inner teachers, and just to let's manifest what been thought and what been thinking and said during this beautiful time being with you, and put it into actions. So thank you so much again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Harsor.
Thank you, sis.
What was that, Sarah? Oh, Harsor, I think that was my sister.
It is I. I love you both so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for opening this container with us, and then blessing the space for integration, reminding us that transformation isn't always easy and it isn't always fun, but it is always worth it. And it's so beautiful to be weaving in this community with you, and looking forward to seeing how this community can also support your temple of shamanism and science, and the immersive art worlds that you will be creating to help people connect with the earth, and dissolve our separation and continue these lineages, and to support the indigenous traditions and wisdom forward into the world. Thank you for protecting it and for sharing it with such generosity and grace. And I'm so grateful for you, Harsor.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is big responsibility. I'm putting together a team and bringing this Kutsur temple of shamanism and science into life. And yeah, we're going to create reciprocity and gather the shamans around the world, and respect plant medicine, and creating safe platform for both cultures, for both opposite almost energies, because I believe in bridging, I believe in merging and friendship, indigenous cultures and Western cultures together. We can do healing work and build friendship and build new community. So we truly believe in shamanism and science can work together. So thank you.
Thank you. Let us know where people can follow up with you to connect and be of support.
Yeah, it's simply first in our Instagram. So I've created this Olox project, music project, and I'm turning it into a record label, into on blockchain. And also our Temple of Shamanism and Science is going to have a digital twin metaverse of shamanism. I'm putting also together a team for creating this immersive art of learning cultures, shamanic cultures around the world, and also immersing their traditions, and also having opening up channel and heart through immersive art. Like it would have a little bit like microdosing of the plant medicine, from seeing and hearing. So yeah, I really would like to bring people into that journey, into hidden sacred places, and also learn from Mother Nature, because it will be all, I vision it being like high quality, beautiful environment where people can be, they can immerse, and also they can interact, being social in that environment and meet with shamans. So we'll get into that. The technology will get into that state, and we'll also get into that level. So we'll make it happen. Thank you.
And so it shall be. Thank you. What a gift. What a beautiful, beautiful, special day. I am so deeply grateful, and thank you to the Vision Train. Thank you to the artists. Thank you to all of our creators and supporters and dreamers and visionaries. It's been a really special day, and the work that we do together is done with so much love and so much care. And I think the behavioral shifts that we're aiming to create through culture, through art, through music, through performance, through storytelling, we're living it. I love the story of the Sky Woman who came from the sky, the story of Turtle Island, one of our creation stories. And I love, recently I reread it and learned a little bit more about the story and how she came through the hole in the sky with a handful of seeds, one of them being sweetgrass. And the story goes that, she landed in the water, and the sea creatures found her. She was like pregnant, and they put her on the back of a turtle, and like one of the little creatures swam down to grab some mud and died in the process, but came up floating with a little bit of mud in his hand, and they spread it out on the back of the turtle, and with the seeds that she came from the sky with, they spread them on the back of the turtle, and in harmony with the plants and the animals, they worked together, and they created what we now call Turtle Island. And I find it really fascinating that there's all these different, there's all these beautiful different origin stories, and that one tells a story of harmony with the land, of connection, of the first human being an immigrant, and how we have this opportunity to indigenize, to really deeply connect with our land, and And may we be these seeds, right? We are these seeds together, reimagining our evolution and the future of life on this planet. And these stories that we're weaving together, that we have woven, that will continue to weave, they help to keep strong the moral imagination that we need to make it through this critical time where we're gonna do everything that we can to move from where we are to where we can be, to actually shift to a world that is thriving, where we can thrive at the expense of none. And we can move through collectively propelling this future that does work for all life. And we can choose now in this path, in this time of great transformation. We can choose the protopian future and shift from me to we in a way that leaves no one and no life behind. Learning from the interdependence and living systems that fuel all life. And so these ideas that we have sprouted and that we will water and we continue to water with each other, with our communities, with the connections that you make, please know that this space has been created with so much love. And just wanted to take some time to slowly thank each and every one of the people, and so many more people who aren't mentioned here, who've helped out in one way or another to create today. Amanda Sage and Alicia Sacred Heart and Vincent Arena and Rafael Motati and the Empress Evoke and Irena and Cecilia and Jurgis and Aaron and Neha and Turquoise all helped to support making this event possible today, and our team in the Design Science Studio, Chris, sending Chris some loves, a little sick right now, and Harris and Amanda Joy and Faith and Tony Marie Makolka and Nico and Mariam, Stephen Bao, Vitalia, who I think maybe is here, and Lena and Bliss, and so many more in our community who's come together, and our partners who always show up and support the vision train, and the different people who came from out of the weeds. It's like, should we do it in January? Yeah, let's do it. We just come together as a community. So thank you all so much. Together, we are this Spaceship Earth crew, and we can do this, And I want to invite everyone to support the studio in whatever way that you can. If you can, donate to support the studio. This is a labor of love, and we want to continue to provide spaces like this, and we will. We will. And we have another showcase at the end of next month, and we have a long launch week at the end of April. And so we appreciate your support, and it's the commitment of the artists and this community that makes all of this possible. So there's so much gratitude for everyone. I can't believe the beautiful day we've had, and we're about to have a dance party and integrate their movement, and just really wanted to say, there's so many ways to support. You can bring your community, your friends, invite your family, make donations, support regenerative endeavors in the world, protect our beautiful planet and its inhabitants, get involved. There's so many different ways to really connect, and your passion for this earth and the thriving of all life is really amplified the more we can come together. So stay connected, and if you can give to support the studio financially, that is amazing. If you can, you want to connect with other initiatives, let us know. We are here, and we are roaring, and we are stoked to be doing what we're doing. And so may we continue to kind of move with the beautiful wisdom of all of life, and interweave with biomimicry and nature's design, and look to a future that is omni-considerate and deeply interwoven. And with that, the Design Science Studio thanks you. And we are going to move into a celebration. A celebration.
And not without thanking you, the grand spark and the weaver, the grand weaver. Without your passion, none of this would happen. You know, you're pulling all of us together, inviting us into this dance. And Roxy, you are a force to be reckoned with, and look forward to seeing through all of our energies combined. We will do it. We are doing it.
You're doing
So thank you for your ignition. Mhm.
It is my greatest life's gift to do this.
Thank you for your compassionate leadership.
Thank you,
Big round of applause for everybody and all the energies that have gone into this.
Love you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, so very, very much. It's been such a beautiful day.
Don't go anywhere.
Oh, yes. Don't go anywhere. Where's the guy? I hear you. Oh, this tradition is the best tradition. I'm crying, so my eyes are burning. Amanda Sage, help welcome our beautiful sister.
Becca's in the house. We're so happy, all the way from the other side of the planet, at least from where I am now. And very cool. You're beaming in from down under. And speaking of beaming, I do want to give a shout out to the beaming crew, which I think there is some links in the chat, and there will be another beaming space that we can beam over to and then beam back. So definitely go check out what they got going on. And here we are going to venture into this full integration in the body with Becca DJ Dakini, we have had this beautiful tradition of jamming on the train after these incredible information downloads. And so happy you could be with us, Becca. And I will never forget our little pina coladas on the beach in Miami. That was next level. And yeah, so good to have you here.
I'm so proud of all of you, and particularly Miss Rocks. Well done, and Amanda. I love weaving and creating with the pair of you. It's such an easy co-creation, and the fact that such a brilliant community is coalescing all around, and all of you are contributing as well, and this village that we're building virtually, which hopefully will turn into physical, to regenerate our planet and to actually, I guess, design and create the world that we know is possible. There's no better work to be done, and we should totally be celebrating whilst we do it. And we need that. We need each other, and we need to be able to come together through art and music and visioning and co-creation to make it through in these times. So well done with having such a brilliant vision of how to keep people together regardless of being so far apart. And for how beautiful it is to watch everything continue to dissolve and bloom. It's really consistently morphing and changing, but every time blooming and growing bigger and better. So I'm just so excited for this year and what comes next. So honored to be co-creating with these amazing women and also the rest of this community. And really excited to continue this tradition of closing out with some sweet tunes to hopefully be like lullabies, but also inspirational anthems for whatever's happening in your worlds out there, and to keep carrying this good energy out into the world. So I'm super honored to be with you all today, and thank you for having me. And let me know, we can start the tunes whenever you like.
Thank you, Becca.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Love you. And I wonder, did Mark leave already, Amanda? Do we want to let our beamers say hi before we kick it off? I see Stephen beaming.
He looks like he's here.
Yeah.
I
Mark's
see
still
Mark.
here. Yeah, I
see
think Mark is in both, where he figured out how he could run a couple accounts at the same time. But yeah, we're inviting everyone to just reflect on the experience that people have had today. So the idea is to actually beam into the recognition of what brings us to this space and what nourishes us in this space and what propels us forward. And we just want to be there to beam together and receive that encouragement of just speaking into each other's stories. So thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. And I think after Becca, we also have John Gold, who stuck around to play some music and some other surprises. But first, DJ Dakini, thank you. I love you, sister.
Thank you. I love you too. I'll see you soon. And all right, so let's get kicked off. Let's go on a little journey, and I hope this is a good integration for everybody. I'm going to switch my microphone over so I won't be able to speak anymore, but let's go into the land of music.